All right, what's up, everybody? I see Tank was actually doing some work, so I took over. Spoiler Kings here, guys. Want to talk to you guys about all type of fun stuff. Got me, Brian the Grizzly, got Tank Kramer. We got Brandon going to be jumping on any minute now. And of course, we told you last week we're going to have Terrance on. So we got T-Virus, Terrance on. What's up, man?
Yep. Thank you for having me. Can you guys hear me good?
Sound good.
Oh yeah.
Cool. Yep. It's been a long time coming, and I have traversed the multiverse to get here. Yep. So here I am.
Hey, I don't know if you guys know, but me and Terrance had a whole lot of fun. I think we were on Chill's was it 21 questions or 33 burning questions? I think it was.
Yep.
And you had so much great things to talk about, and I thought you were super interesting. So it's catching you, getting you on here was something I wanted to get done. So I've been bugging both these guys to get this done. So
Terrance, what's up, man?
Hey, what's up?
Yeah. Hey. Sorry, I'm late, gentlemen.
Hey, you made it. That's all that matters. Hey, Professor Film Fan. Good evening. What's up? So,
what's up, man?
I guess we could talk about what we're going to talk about today. So, I think the first thing we're going to do is we're going to do this ranking. We kind of first start talking about our MCU villains, and who are the best villains, who are the worst villains in all the MCU, and we want to rank a couple of them. So right now, our fearless leader over there is actually trying to narrow down some of these people, some of these villains, because we had a lot. But while we're doing it, I kind of just want to talk about it, like just kind of set the stage. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of villains in the MCU, that are iconic, but there are also a lot of ones that you are forgetful. So like, does anyone remember Mickey Rourke when he was Whiplash?
Yeah.
Iron Man 2?
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Remember
that? That's old school right there. Yeah. Iron Man 2 villain.
And it's a shame, because I remember how big a deal it was when Mickey Rourke was cast. I was definitely excited. He was hot off Mickey Rourke was in the midst of like a career resurgence of sorts. He was just coming off the heels of The Wrestler. So it was he already had, fandom cred with Sin City, which he was great in. So it was a big deal. And I don't know, was that really the start of what we probably now call Marvel villain syndrome?
Maybe.
I want to ask you guys a question before we answer that. So, Killmonger, is he a great villain, or is this a great story? Are there differences between great villains and just great characters in themselves?
Well, you kind of ask yourself.
Start with Brandon and then go to Terrance. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Well, to answer that, you have to kind of ask yourself. You have what makes a great villain, like what you said. Is it the story around him? Is it the villain himself? And I thought that I thought he was a great villain. I thought that his motivations made sense. There were even times it's really great when the villain does have a point. Mm-hmm. I think his execution.
Says, my T-shirt that says Thanos was right.
Yeah. And even to an extent, Killmonger. I'm not sure if I'd say he was right, but he had an excellent point.
I think he was right.
I think to an extent, yeah, I do think he was right. I think his methods were a little extreme in terms of going for because his goals were global omnicide, if we're being real.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's kind of where he went wrong. But yeah, I understand where he was coming from to an extent. I kind of consider T'Chaka the real villain of Black Panther.
Yeah.
He didn't have to kill his brother.
Exactly, and then they had to leave his nephew to see him either.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, bastard. So yeah. I think Killmonger was a great villain. I think they really pulled off that character great, and on top of that, like Michael B. Jordan absolutely crushed it. I was a little pissed off they killed him off. I wanted him to stick around.
That's why they had to bring him back.
Mhm.
What do you feel,
Yeah.
Terrance? What makes a good villain? Are these complicated characters good villains?
That is an excellent question. What I will say is, from my experience with the MCU and even with Marvel Comics, I think that when the question comes up, like, what is a good villain, what is a great villain, it really just depends on which one and how they work within the storyline being presented. So, like in this case with Eric Killmonger, he worked great for that particular film. Like, you understood his motivations. And to me, while you can have like just a straight up crazy, psychotic wild card like the Joker, you can also
Mhm.
have a villain like Killmonger where you're like, you know what? He's not entirely wrong, and I feel like, where can I sign up? Where's the dotted line where I can
Yeah.
put my name? I'm
Mhm.
about to join right now and help him out. And then when you join, then he reveals the rest of the details, and you're like, oh, well, I didn't I didn't see that on page 6. So you think we should do it like this? I'll think of something a little less drastic. And then he's gonna have his anger and his emotions, and he kind of makes you feel it. It's like, okay, well, you don't agree with everything he says, but because you agree with some of it, that's all that he needs to solidify himself as a great villain.
Mm. And also, it kind of makes you feel like he's right, like you want to be with him. You know,
Right,
I
Mhm.
right.
when you talk about top villains, we talk about Killmonger. I think about Loki, right? Because
Mhm.
Loki is, no matter what we want to say, he's an anti-hero or a villain. But is he just a great character? He was definitely a villain in 2 of these movies. I
Oh
don't
yeah,
know
oh
where
yeah,
to rank him.
yeah. Yeah.
You know,
Well, okay. So in the case of Loki, how he started. Loki was evil as hell when he started. So,
Mhm.
and that's how I like him most, when he's like that, not so much where he's kind of conflicted, going back and forth.
anti-hero.
Where, right,
Mhm.
like where his brother and so many other individuals whispered in his ear enough times where he's like, man, maybe I want some friends and stuff. Being a villain is kind of lonely. Everybody trying to stop you and stuff. But I feel like when you just literally focus on what you're supposed to be doing, like in Loki's case, he's better at being a villain. When he was awesome, because when he shows up, you're like, who is this guy? He looks interesting. He has this crazy smile on his face. It looks like he's thinking. So you're more concerned about what he's thinking, more so than like what he's going to do. And then when he does stuff, then it just adds to that. So you
Now
end up
having his
having these
power too.
multiple layers.
Yeah.
Right. It gives him multiple layers. But to be fair, if you go back to Killmonger, he had multiple layers too, because that
Mhm.
was a character who had a lot of pain. And I know a lot about having mental pain and stuff like that as a very powerful driving force, especially if you know how to channel it properly. You know what I mean? Like, you can really do some serious damage. So
Well, you think about familial pain. That's huge. So
Mhm.
that's once again. So
Mhm.
now we're talking about Eric Killmonger. We're talking about Loki. Familial pain. It's always huge. Thanos, wait, his whole life, is pain from family. What's his name? The dude from Shang-Chi. Familial.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
those
right, right,
familial pains are huge.
yeah,
So I think that also, stings, because you have something driving you, a driving force behind why you're the way you are. So
right. And then
Mhm.
last thing, like, I think that let's say if you have a villain and they introduce that villain straight away, and you don't necessarily get all the pieces of the puzzle. If you want to know more about said villain, I feel like that is the perfect setup, because if you don't want to know more, then they have failed in terms of presenting that villain. Like, if you're just like, I don't care, that's bad to me. That's like, you failed before you started. So if I have questions like, oh, what is he doing, what is she doing, like, where does this person come from, or what happened to their people, and that means that I'm interested, I'm engaged, and you want your audience to be engaged,
mhm,
if
Mhm.
you're competent.
I agree.
Mhm.
All right, we got a couple guys in this chat. They just released a trailer for new Blade game, so we might have to talk about
I
that in a little
just
bit.
yeah, I
No
just looked it
way.
up like legit like 30 minutes ago. So yeah.
What's up,
Oh,
Monzo?
That
What's
is
going on?
that is hilarious. Like right before you guys put up the live stream, that's what I watched was the trailer for the Blade game, and I was like, something about that like excited me, but it made me mad, and I can get into that when you guys get into that.
Oh, I cannot wait till I start getting about that. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. Well,
Same.
and also like Mahershala Ali just said something about the movie. Like I think yesterday.
Yeah,
Yesterday or the day before, he just said something.
yeah, how he's happy with how it's coming along.
Yeah.
Finally, this newest script rewrite.
Yeah, what was
which
it?
is
That
good.
word he used. He's encouraged.
Mhm.
That's a good one. That's a good word. We got Kevin in here. He says MCU can write good stories when when it comes to their villains. Not very memorable for me. Just being honest.
No, that's understandable.
Mhm.
You know, they're very hit or miss when it comes to villains. Dare I say, sometimes more miss than hit. It feels like.
I mean,
As
is
much as
that
I love the
the whole thing?
MCU, I'm
Yeah.
sorry. I'm sorry.
Honestly, I think that's the whole thing. I mean, I am agreeing with you 100% because I think the stories are lacking when you don't have a great villain. I argue
Mhm.
that all the time. Like, if you don't have a great villain, then how can I have a great movie, a great story? My hero is not as heroic without having a villainous person on the other side.
Yeah.
Right. I have said that too for many years, not just with the MCU, but just like, films in general, like or
Mhm.
anything where you have a story. Because I've said like with the MCU specifically, since we're talking about that, the heroes to me more often than not are greater than the villains, and that is
Mhm.
a continuous problem. So like when we get a good or a great villain, they stand out because they're not in large abundance.
Mhm.
I agree. That's a good point.
Yeah. And I think
Yeah.
part of it is
Be
every time
Hey,
you kill a villain, like you devalue him a little bit. Like if they would have beat Ultron, but if he would have stuck around, that would have made it
mhm.
more interesting. It was like where he's just like a dude that's always there, and at any moment he can just come in and do stuff. Like that's like
That's
kind
what
of
I.
something where
Mhm.
because it makes the bad guys a little bit more on edge. You're like, oh shit, like this is still over there. We always have to keep
Right.
that in mind, kind of thing. I mean,
Yeah,
like in
and
comic books.
Yeah.
and it establishes them as a real threat and a real menace. I was really let down when Ultron was treated as a one off.
Mhm.
That's another thing that I always have a problem with. It almost feels like they unceremoniously do away with a lot of the villains after one appearance. Kind of circling back to Black Panther. I was hoping Ulysses Claw would stick around. I get why he had to be killed off for narrative purposes and for what Killmonger was trying to do. But at the same time, I was kind of let down, just kind of being familiar with the character of Claw. Like I said, heck, the character of Killmonger. They just kind of doing away with them after one movie is something that always kind of disappoints me because it seems like they always do it, save for what Thanos, a couple like maybe
I
Loki.
mean,
Loki.
and then Loki stayed around so long that he became a hero.
Right,
Mhm.
All
right, right.
right,
See,
bro.
it,
Come on.
and that's the thing, right? Because like I've told humans before, because there's always going to be the normies where they're like, well, you're just a comic book guy, so if they don't get this right and everything right, you're going to hate it. I'm like, no, that's not
No,
necessarily true. It depends. Like for me, I don't necessarily need a beat by beat adaptation, but what I do want is for you to respect and not just use them for the sake
Mhm.
of elevating your brand. Like I'm like, if you're gonna use this villain, this hero, or whoever, put some respect on them. Don't just here they are and then do away with them. I'm like, what was the point of that? Like they kind of felt wasted in a lot of cases. So I
Hmm.
didn't like that in relation to a lot of the choices that they made.
Mhm. I mean, the one thing I would say with that is you there are a few characters you could do that with. Whiplash, going back to Whiplash, use him, build him up, kill him in the same movie. He's not that big of a deal, especially the way you wrote him. Like, fine,
Mhm.
whatever, I don't care. You know what I mean? You wanted to make another sequel, cool. But but Black Panther, you killed two. You killed two awesome villains. But
Killmonger is like the biggest villain in all of Black
oh
Panther.
yeah,
Like for the
Right.
60s, 70s, 80s, he is the biggest villain.
Oh
Right?
yeah.
Yeah, he's
Claw
basically
shoot.
he's the arch nemesis.
Yeah.
I
You know,
see. If I were in charge, like Killmonger would have been around for 3 movies. Like there would have been
Exactly.
at
no
least.
conversation to
Just
kill
that he's
him until
underlining there, even
yeah.
if he's in
Hey.
jail.
Right,
Hey,
right,
What's up, popcorn?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean you have to have that around. I don't understand. He's like, why would you kill Joker and Batman immediately? No one
no.
ever did. Never. Why would you do that? He's his arch nemesis.
Right,
You don't do those things. So I think that's
right.
one thing that MC has messed up.
yeah. Well, yeah, I blame Batman '89 because he was a one-off in that.
You know
Yeah,
that
bro.
that's true,
That's true.
but okay, here's the thing, right? Like if you look at that time period, like back then and even decades before that, there were only a few things that were popping live action comic book wise, and it was DC, right? But a
Mm-hmm.
lot of that stuff was experimental and them trying to get everybody else on board, and it worked. But there still was the fear of like, I don't know, are they gonna get tired of this really fast, or we got to keep doing things differently? So I get the mindset of back then, but after all that time has passed, now you have a better understanding and you learn from the mistakes of the past and you should not be repeating them. So at this point, I don't really give them, excuses. It's just more like they just don't care. Like, and that's really what it is a lot of times.
I feel like it's a lot of times people don't read the material. You need to, once again, it doesn't have to be beat by beat, but you have to understand the motivation of the villain. So, like,
Right.
if you don't understand the villain, then you're going to do things like kill him off. All you need to really do is just put him in jail, let them break out, put him somewhere else in prison, let them keep the character around
Right.
so they could
Right.
always be around when you need them. Yeah, be
Yeah.
here. Brandon Davis said it's more fun being a villain because villains don't live by any rules. And then he says, yeah, killing Claw was like, what? But throwing a villain away in a film gets gets tired of the same villain, excluding Darth Vader because he's the greatest villain of all time. I'm so sick of seeing Shredder.
Okay, hold on a second. Okay, so with that sort of thinking in mind, right? If
Mm-hmm.
you're talking about a universe, the only way that you can get tired of a villain is if no other characters are used, right? So in the case of Marvel, there are a plethora of villains, so there's no reason that you would get tired. Like you're talking about different characters and different teams deal with different factions and different characters. So you wouldn't get tired of Eric Killmonger. It's like you keep him focused with Black Panther, you do an Iron Man film or something with Loki or Thor or whatever you do, he's not going to necessarily be there. So you're not going to get tired of him. It's not like they would use him for 30 plus movies. It would be focused around where it would make sense to use that character. So I think the idea of like, oh, the character is going to be overused. I'm like, no, you're thinking too small. You have to be broader, which is what you have to do when you're talking about a shared universe. And what you don't do is take your golden egg and go, well, and then you just smash it with a hammer. Like, why are you doing that?
See, the smartest ones are I see DC when they used Iron Heights for Flash. They used a place where I could put them away, and I don't have to talk about them for forever. But the best of the villains are always going to come back because they're the smartest, they're the most villainous, they're the most dangerous. So I could always bring them back, but I don't have to bring them back the next movie. They're still there. They're just underlining.
Right.
Yeah. Well, and then also like Shredder, kind of what Terrance was saying was it's a smaller universe. It's the Turtles and just the Turtles. There's no other. And then how many villains do they really have? I mean, I can maybe count them on a hand. And Shredder is probably going to be. Brian will be right back. He probably hit the wrong button. But yeah, Shredder's always going to be sticking around. Just because who he is. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, you need Shredder. He's important because even when you go back to the original comics of Ninja Turtles, which I started reading, I didn't even know that Oroku Saki, which is Shredder, I didn't even know he had a brother. You know what I mean? And that's why he decided to kill Hamato Yoshi because they were fighting over a woman, and then Oroku Nagi got killed, and then he was like, okay, now I'm gonna kill the dude that killed my brother. And I was like, these details are important, and if you just omit them, then now you're narrowing down the material, so now you have less to work with. I'm like, what do you think's going to happen when you're like, man, look at all this lore, and you toss it in the trash? Of course,
Mhm.
now they end up in the conversations like, well, we did one movie and there was nothing left. I'm like, how is there nothing left
Like there's
after one
source
movie?
material so much. There, the backstory, the reasoning that they become villains, all of that's there. So
Right,
it doesn't
right,
make any sense. I want to
right.
come through to go through these real quick. What's up, Travis?
Oh,
And yeah, Jill, yeah, I can see them being the main protagonist after this first film because a new villain pushes the character into to his limits, like Nolan's Joker, then Bane,
Mhm.
then new villain raises the stakes. And they all could be in the same prison, and then they could all come out at the same time.
Right.
I ain't Spider-Man
Mhm.
or I said Flash, so
Yeah.
Yeah,
one thing I know is movies shy away from keeping the villains alive, especially because of redeeming them. But TV shows like Last Airbender, Walking Dead, etc., build stories on making villains into heroes, which I don't like.
Sometimes it depends.
it depends. Like
It
what
depends.
Hollywood is doing nowadays is that they ain't got no balls, right? They just afraid to keep characters evil. They like, oh, we gotta relate to them. We gotta make them a
Mhm.
hero. They gotta have some kids and stuff. I'm like, no, stop that.
The
You're
greatest villain is just a villain. Just
right.
Yeah.
what made the
It-
Joker so scary? Just
because
because
it just
he just doing it.
right.
Right.
Nothing. There's
There's
no
no rhyme or
motivation.
reason.
You can't
Right,
pay him off. I'm just going to be evil, no matter
right,
what.
Could say something
right.
about Black
Just
Adam, but
because
that's
it's the
low
truth,
hanging
then.
fruit.
Right. Yeah, Black Adam is like
It's all
he's
another.
he's an anomaly. But see, if you keep doing it with all of them, those anomalies cease to be special because now everybody's doing it, right? So you
Mhm.
got to make sure to not turn something that doesn't happen a lot into like now it's just a thing. It's something to where you come to expect it, which means you're doing it too much. You know what I mean? And it removes the level of excitement and mystery. Like you got to keep these things in place, like how you mentioned, with DC, the Blackgate prison, they got
Mhm.
the 33.1 facilities, they got the Phantom Zone. There's all kinds of places where these characters can go. And then you're like, oh man, I forgot about him or I forgot about her. When they show up again, you're happy to see them. It's like, that's right.
You put them
That
all in the
person didn't get
asylum. You
killed.
put in Arkham Asylum.
Right.
Like you do all those
Hmm.
things. It's
Yeah.
so smart. They do it
Right.
right, especially when we're talking about animated stuff.
Yeah.
Right. Right. Oh yeah. The DC animated stuff
Is
is beautiful.
top
It's the best.
In the comics, I wouldn't get tired of Killmonger. In the fans, yeah, I would get tired of him. And then what are you guys gonna do? Bring Killmonger back for 5 minutes in a movie? He's still underused then. No, so what you do is you bring him, he's the main protagonist. You introduce him in the first movie, and then you put him in jail and you keep him out. And then let him get smarter and smarter and become more villainous, more of a problem. And then when you've had another problem in Wakanda, he takes advantage of that situation and becomes
Mhm.
the worst villain of all time. So like you've made a story there, you built a world, and you have a main villain still being villainous. That's what you have to do.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like a bad guy can't be a bad guy anymore when he's dead. You know what I mean? It's like it needs, the same, but that's what they do with the villains. The villains win at the end of the day, and they become better and better and better versions of themselves. Where some of these bad guys, if they were to survive, like they'll be good. Thanos is a great example of that. Like he lost, and the way they did with the whole time shit and blah blah blah. But the old new version of Thanos, I don't know how to explain it, but you know what I mean, right?
Right.
Endgame, he learned from the other Thanos, basically, so it's like, so when you keep a villain around, they become better, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like you could do stuff like that, but also you could do stuff where it doesn't need to be one for one, because Thanos in the comic book was kind of lame, you know what I mean? Like he literally killed half the universe to impress a woman,
Death.
Yeah.
and then when he did it, she was like, I don't give a
So,
shit,
right,
so
I
it's
kill-
like
I kill
She
people
didn't
all the
even
time.
care. Like she just looked
She
at
didn't
him
care.
like
yeah,
she was like, "You ain't
and
shit." And then he
yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's why I was like, but what they did with him in here was a lot better. I think they actually gave him some more depth and stuff like that. But then they did what they usually do and make him make it. I think a good villain. What MCU does is their best villains aren't full Joker evil, right? Because I think they're afraid to get there. Kind of what
right.
Terrance was saying. but their best ones are ones where you're like, I agree with your message. I don't agree with how you're doing it. You know what I mean? Like, but what you're saying is right. What you're doing is wrong. You know, so and it's kind of like that's the issue. Is like, where's that point for you? You know, and I think those are the best villains.
Now, see on the flip side of that though, they should be doing both. It shouldn't just only be you know, like an Eric Killmonger where you understand him, but you don't always agree with everything that he says. You should have your Joker-esque characters too, because
Green Goblin.
certain characters should just be evil. I'm not trying to see them become friends and all this stuff like, you know, what Sony's been doing with their characters. But yeah, I ain't trying to see all that. I'm not.
Yeah.
All right, we got Travis in here. I think the MCU is struggling with bringing back old villains, only to make them comedic relief, removing their depth. Abomination, Zemo, and everyone in No Way Home. I hear you.
You didn't like Zemo's dancing?
Please. Every Fast and Furious villain eventually ends up at the barbecue.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Jason Momoa will be part of the family in the next movie.
You know what? It's different with Dominic Toretto. Like he can win over anybody. Like if they put Dominic Toretto in Secret Wars, like all the villains are gonna just join the barbecue. It's gonna be a good time.
Yeah.
I say if you had T'Challa there, T'Challa would make all the villains into heroes. They would just naturally follow him, just like we saw.
The Dragon Ball theory, you know, like every bad guy becomes the good guy and becomes part of the family. You know what I mean? They've been doing that since what? Fucking. When did Dragon Ball start? Like
89?
89, right? 88, something like that. Yeah. So.
I do think in Zemo in particular, there's something there with T'Challa saving his life. Seeing how that affects his viewpoint of superheroes could be interesting later. Then Brandon saying the only villain I want to see over and over again is Darth Vader, the dialects, and Jamie Moriarty. Okay, keep the arch nemesis enemies. Okay, cool, but the second-rate tertiary enemies they can go. And then he said, "I like Zemo." Yeah. Okay. I went through all those real quick because I wanted to get to the villains and start to talk about ranking some of them.
So before we get into it, I couldn't figure out how to. I can save it, but then I couldn't edit the bad guy, so I just arranged them to be most of the movie ones and some of the TV shows, because some of the TV show ones are like, are you know, like He Who Remains, you know. Who's that? Not the Flag Smasher. Well, I think I got her on there because she was kind of lame anyway. But the bootleg Captain America,
Evil Maya Rudolph.
See, that's crazy. We gotta say that, like, you know, the movie villains and then the TV villains. Just like the TV ones seem so small in comparison.
But then you have somebody like Kingpin. You know what I mean? Who's only been in TVs. You know, and he's awesome.
Oh yeah, because he's Kingpin. Though it's different. Like no matter where he is, he's Kingpin. So you will have some exceptions.
Yeah. So you know, but I think certain ones can transfer back and forth. Kingpin, I think one. I can't think of the evil Captain America dude.
Walker, U.S. agent.
Yeah, U.S. agent. That's it. Yeah.
But he's evil-ish, I guess.
Evil, yeah.
He's very much an anti-hero, I'd say.
Just like Justin Hammer.
I wouldn't even go so far as to say he's an anti-hero. I feel like he's just a misguided soul. Like he just.
I agree. Yeah. Like, but ego. You know, I mean, let's get to the list.
Yeah. So okay. So I have most of this row here. I think all of this. So it should be up to the weird ones down here don't count. So the last one is the Marvels. Like she would be the last one.
Let's put her at terrible, awful.
Well, I wanted to keep her there because she's my placeholder. Yeah, you know. But like they had like the Power Broker on here. I'm like that. I wouldn't even count. They had a lot of random ones that I probably wouldn't even like. This dude, really? We're gonna talk about this dude? Like he was a nobody. You know, he was a minion. So the dude with the head thing from
from Guardians
3.
Oh yeah, would you even call him a villain?
Yeah,
No,
Like
he's
he's just a dude that was
he's just
happened to
an
be there.
he's just an
Yeah, exactly.
assistant that was working for somebody that was evil. Like, so I guess
Yeah,
he's bad, but to me he's not a villain. He's just an asshole.
Yeah,
yeah,
he's the dude that got paid, whatever.
yeah.
Right.
Same thing with this dude. Great actor. I enjoyed his character, but he's not really a villain because he's a minion. You know what I mean? Ronan is the dude. Not this guy.
I agree.
But yeah, so we'll get it going. So I have a few different ones. So Incredible is like, A-list, top tier. Great means it's, great, good. And then we got neutral. So they're neither bad or good. There's kind of somewhere in between. And then bad, terrible, and don't watch it. So I got like 3 really good ones, 3 really bad ones, and 1 right in the middle.
Okay.
Damn,
That's how we're gonna.
a lot of categories. Yeah.
I know. I can always get rid of like.
No, but
good
let's start
and
going
terrible.
fast. Let's go.
Yeah.
So this help us because I don't think the girl from the Marvels should be in bad. She should be in terrible. She's awful.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I was starting to do it by like phase 1, phase 2. I'm like, you know what? That's too much. I'm just gonna start putting them up there. Kind of as we go.
Is that first one Obadiah?
Yeah. So it's the bad guy from Iron Man 1 was Obadiah.
Yeah, Obadiah's a good one.
Mm-hmm. I think it was it's the beginning. It's the start, right? He's the first bad guy in the MCU.
What is that? Obadiah Stane? That
yep,
dude?
Obadiah Stane.
Yeah. What was he?
Ironmonger.
Ironmonger.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah.
So where we're gonna put
like
him?
The evil Iron Man.
Basically.
I kind of want to put him as good.
He's a good bad guy. Yeah.
Yeah. He wasn't anything mind blowing, but I thought his motivation kind of was it wasn't anything great, but I thought it was enough because when it comes down to it, it was just a power struggle for a company. But I liked Obadiah. I liked how kind of insidious he was. Even had some intimidating moments, particularly when he almost catches Pepper downloading the files in Tony's office. I thought a lot of what made him work was Jeff Bridges' performance.
Yeah,
great actor. I thought he was very much a presence.
Cool.
Okay, here's what I'll say. Like, love Iron Man 1, right? Ironmonger as a villain. I feel like he was good in the movie. Like, he kind of struck me as just, okay, when you think of an evil businessman, like, you're going to get Ironmonger. That's pretty much him. Treacherous, just, you're supposed to be a family friend, and it's like, oh, by the way. And then you just do all this stuff. So I'm like, he worked well for that. So, I could leave him in good, even though I wouldn't say he's one of the more impressive ones, but he worked good for a starting point of the MCU.
Exactly. Yeah. Or before you become a hero, that's what you got. So let's go to the next guy.
He had one of my favorite lines in the MCU, by the way, too.
Tony Stark.
Stark was able to build this in a cave.
What a bunch of
scrap.
I was like, hey, man, do I look like Tony to you? Like, that was the ultimate comeback. He was like, hey, man, you better miss me.
I'm not Tony Stark.
But so Brandon Davis said he's incredible, and he's saying if it wasn't for him, we wouldn't have an Iron Man.
But he's now on the same level as Killmonger. He's just not.
No.
Yeah, he was a good villain. I think he was a villain where you're able to like root against him. You know what I mean? Like you want him to.
I think the best way to say it is that he serviced the plot and he did what he was supposed to do. And of course, Iron Man, he was so good in that movie. You'd be really hard pressed to put like a villain that's equally as charismatic and stuff. But he did what he was supposed to do.
Yeah. I think for me, anybody in the good is like, if you die, you die. It's like you served your purpose and that's it. You know what I mean? Like that's kind of good or neutral for me. You know what I mean? For the most part. But all right.
We have 40 villains. We gotta go faster.
Yeah. Let's go through. So we got Killmonger.
Incredible.
Right here.
Incredible.
Oh yeah. Top tier. Incredible. Yep.
Yeah.
Easily one of my favorite MCU villains.
Without doubt. We every time it's somebody you compare to. So we got Loki, and this is like early Loki, trying to take over the world kind of Loki.
he's probably the second greatest villain, but
I-
a third best villain. But he's old Loki, not new Loki, right?
Right. Yeah. Oh, phase
like
one Loki.
Phase 1, Avengers 1.
Phase 1 Loki. So that's what the
Avengers 1.
Avengers 1. You know,
Thor 1.
Thor 1 and 2.
Yeah.
A villain with superpowers, incredible.
Uh-huh. I'd still say incredible, even with those 3 appearances.
Yeah. Just with Thor 1 and the Avengers alone, I'm like, yeah, he's one of their best villains. To me, it's just, it always kind of bothers me a little bit that he just went goody two shoes. I'm like, nah, man, you gotta be evil again. Like,
Yeah, and even with Thor: The Dark World, because I know that there's a very that movie has a very mixed response to it, but I liked the ending with him getting rid of Odin and essentially more or less accomplishing his mission and getting the throne.
And he's the only one besides Thanos that won in multiple movies.
Mm-hmm.
That's true.
You know, think what you will of The Dark World, but for me that ending really stuck with me. You know, I loved the way it ended. And
and then Brandon Davis said he would give Loki just a good. I can't give him just good, man. He when you start changing other characters, you start becoming on a different level. You know what I mean? Like
you change the events of everything.
Though, because like I think you know, from that person's perspective, he's looking at Loki overall in the MCU. And if you do that, then I think, you know, he would go down to good. But if you're looking at how he started, then it would be incredible.
Yeah.
Like this one.
It's almost neutral if you look at him overall. It's almost neutral.
Yeah. But we're just looking at evil Loki. The bad Loki.
Then it's incredible then if it's just like I said, you know, Thor 1 and Avengers 1. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah. All right. So another early guy, Red Skull. We didn't get much besides Captain America. That was really the only thing he's been in. One movie, you know.
He was in it in the game too, but wasn't really.
Yeah, but he
wasn't really. You know, he just kind of talked. He was like, "Hey, y'all, you remember me from all those phases ago? Yeah. Here I am. Yeah, you know." But to be fair, in you know, Captain America: The First Avenger, I thought he was really cool. Like, he was charismatic, and it was like, man, this dude is evil. And the way Hugo Weaving played him, I was like, he brought such an elegance to him.
So, he did.
You know what? I'm kind of going
Nazi.
back and forth.
He's a Nazi.
He is. But I don't know, like, it sounds weird to say that, you know, he was a likable Nazi. You know,
Interesting.
Right, but you know, in all seriousness, no, I think that you know, he worked well in the movie, so I put him in good.
I don't know if he's as good as Obadiah. I feel like he's a level below Obadiah.
You know what though? I would say he's better than Ironmonger, even though like the Iron Man movie is great. I feel like Red Skull like
is a better villain.
Yeah, he had more of a screen presence than Ironmonger. You know, I feel like Ironmonger was kind of helped out by Iron Man. You know,
being a better character. But I thought I thought Captain America movie wise wasn't as good because maybe it's because it was all in the past, and I think that's also what kind of hurts it a little bit.
I've heard that sentiment. I think like it. Like when you look at the early comics of Captain America, right? I feel like that was a really good translation because it can be hard to adapt Captain America, and I always give that movie props, even though I feel like it often gets overlooked. But it did do a lot of things right, you know. So
I thought so too.
Okay,
but just him as a villain, I like him in the good category.
Yeah, I could put him in the good category.
And again, he served his purpose. He died, and that's it. You know,
he became a ghost.
Didn't change much. Kinda, I guess. Yeah. All right. This is when I stopped going different phases. So Jude Law's character, he was I forgot who he was.
Jan-Rog
from Captain Marvel.
Captain Marvel. No, put him in bad.
Bad.
Yeah, I don't think he's a good villain at all.
Yeah.
Even though I didn't mind the first Captain Marvel movie as a whole, not a good villain. I gotta keep a stack on that.
What did he do in the movie? This is all he did.
Exactly.
Carol.
Exactly.
I am bad.
You can't even remember what he did. Like even kind of trying to think back on just what exactly he did. I couldn't even tell you.
He did nothing. He gave her a few karate lessons, and then at the end of the movie, he's like, "By the way, I am the person you should be afraid of." It's like, no, not really.
And then he got his butt kicked. You're
Right.
off.
In a second.
One attack.
Yeah.
Yeah, she got one. He got one shotted by her, and that was the end of it. I do remember.
He hit him with a literal meme, and he got defeated. Like that's what happened.
Mhm.
That's funny.
Okay.
And we are completely like not in sync with Brandon Davis because
I know.
Like, so Brandon Davis is just in our chat is just completely not with us. So he's like Red Hood should be bad, Jude Law should be good. So
I think Jude Law is so bad. I'd rather have what's his name from was it Darren Cross? I think Darren Cross is way better than him. Like, man, come on.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. All right, we'll get to him in a second. All right. So we have the villain from Iron Man 3, the fake Mandarin. Yeah.
Killian.
Yeah. Killian,
yeah, that's.
I don't. Yeah. He's not memorable.
Bad, and because he's not memorable, and his skin glowed, and he was trying to hit on Pepper, and that's all you remember. Yeah, no.
I would even say terrible for me.
Like that's
because like
movie is awful because
he wasn't even like set up to be the bad guy because the whole time you think the fake Mandarin is the bad guy, and then
the red herring
is like it's me. I was like, what?
Where did that even come from?
You know, it was stupid. You know, so like for me, I would put it in terrible. I don't know if you guys agree, but I mean, I'm cool with it being down here.
I almost want to put him in. Didn't watch it. I mean, I've watched it, but I've never watched it again. Like, watched it once.
Yeah, you know what? Like Iron Man 3, like I don't like it, but I do like the scenes with Tony and the kid when they were bonding and all. Like, you know, it was cool to see him go through his PTSD. But whenever I ask somebody, I'm like, "Hey, what about that villain?" Like, they're like, which one, the actor dude? Or I'm like, wow, the actor dude. And then I'm like, what about the other one? They're like, oh, the glowy guy. Like, I'm like, no,
the fake Mandarin is more of a villain than this guy.
Yeah, well, that's now we know because there's the fake Mandarin, then he's the fake Mandarin, then we got the real Mandarin. It was like, what are we doing, man?
Only Marvel can get away with that stuff. The fake man.
I'm going with terrible. No, I'm voting for terrible.
Go ahead. Like
okay.
All right. I don't object at all.
All right. So this is our first TV one. He Who Remains. He Who Remains. Is he a good bad guy?
So I'm probably gonna bow out on this because I love him.
Okay. Now we gotta be fair because I do like him. You know, I think he stole the show from Loki. Like when he showed up, Jonathan Majors, I was like, you need to change the name of this show. Like that's how good he was. And he was just talking. Like he didn't throw a roundhouse kick. You know, there was no magic. It was just dialogue.
No, man.
It was so good though.
And Jonathan Majors was just absolutely crushing it with his delivery,
right?
His mannerisms. That was the most memorable part for me too.
But he's not on incredible level.
No,
I'm voting you put him at great.
No. Yeah, I thought he was great. I'd say great.
Because he's different than good.
Yeah.
I feel like if I'm gonna be fair, like when I look at what he did, which was, you know, he had a great dialogue sequence and all that. It was incredible. But if I'm gonna be fair, I gotta teeter him between neutral and good. Like I feel like if maybe he would have, you know, smacked the crap out of Loki or something, then you know I'd have put him in incredible. You know, like
I think his story's not done yet. I think He Who Remains story's not done yet. So I'm okay with putting him at good, but I think he's probably at great. But I think at the end of what is the last one, Secret Wars Part 2 or whatever they're doing, I think
Dynasty maybe.
Well, I mean, but
they're skipping it.
It wouldn't be
they're still doing
to really judge him on what could be. We gotta look at what is though. You know what I mean? Because
yeah.
But that one,
that's why
that one episode was so epic. It was so good. But at the end, it still was only one episode.
Right.
I would give him 2 episodes because there's the season 1 and the 1 episode he's in, and then season 2 the 1 episode he's in.
Right. Well, I
So
mean,
between
but
2
okay,
seasons, 2
but
episodes.
season 1 though is like more the definitive one as to where
Yeah.
season 2 was just like some moments within that.
It,
You know what I mean?
it was
So,
Lion King 1.5 in between
Mhm.
the
right.
episodes.
Right. Yeah.
Well, but I'm okay with putting him good. I kind of like him at great, but I'm okay with putting him good.
Well, that's
Yeah,
split the difference.
just to be fair, just to split the
difference?
difference.
Yeah.
Okay. So real quick, we got some of the comments. You want to read them, Brian? Sorry, I gotta get water.
All right, we do have some comments. I'm gonna pull them back up very quick because you guys have some really good ones. I love it. All right. Incredible for He Who Remains.
Sorry.
Said Johnny was on that money. I agree.
Sure was.
Thank you. Hey, what's up, Tony? What's up?
Hey, what's up?
One criteria for me is whether or not you want to see the character, or was it set up before we'll see them. He Who Remains is one of them for me, that you want to see him again. And so He Who Remains, was he really the villain? That's the real question. And that's why he says, okay, I'm okay with neutral if you're not sure was he a villain or not.
That's a good question.
Was he just the best of a bad situation?
No. See, I'm not gonna play this game, Brandon. Like, look, he was a villain. Like, I get, like, he was charming and charismatic and all the good jazz, but I'm like, no, this dude was literally eating the apple, talking about, oh, billions of lives destroyed. Hey, it's all good as long as the Canes don't show up. It's all good.
He did eat the apple. Like, yeah, what's up? Yeah, it's all right.
Yeah.
But that seems like it's bigger than Ironmonger. That's a bigger thing. Like, he is killing billions of people all the time, just like whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. But even, I mean, that's the whole thing with the argument. It's like he's killing a version of that person. You know what I mean? But that person still exists in the main timeline. So that's when it starts becoming like a weird conversation. But
you do trillions of people.
Yeah.
Right. And just to split the difference, because everything that he was saying, it did happen off screen, and we just had to go with what he was saying.
That's exactly.
Yeah, we didn't.
We never saw him do any of these things, and that's why I think you put him at good. But if we saw some of this stuff, and overall as a villain, he's a great villain. But yeah, I agree.
Right.
I agree.
Yeah. Okay. So let's go with I believe her name is Ghost from Ant-Man 2.
Nah, bad. No, bad. No.
Neutral. Because I sympathized with her. They just didn't. She's one where they just didn't do enough with her, and she kind of wavered between you kind of understand her, and then they kind of abruptly tried to make her like full on villainous, which I kind of understood in her desperation. But so that said, I'm kind of a mix of emotions when it comes
bad.
Like, she was neutral. Never a villain. She just didn't want to die. She
just didn't want to die.
She even spared the hero. She was like, "Look, I ain't trying to kill y'all. I'm just sick. I need some medicine." And I'm like, what is this supposed to be here? This is not a villain. So that's why I say she's bad. Like,
but she's not on the same level as what you call it.
No, but I think there are different levels to bad. Like, she would be above them, but I still have bad though as a villain. I just got.
Yeah, I was getting kind of pissed off at Scott and Hope for beating up on her near the end. I'm like, how dare she want to stop being in pain?
Yeah, you're a little girl who lost her dad. Like,
Right. Yeah, I thought
but
she
that
was
makes
about
me
to
feel
join
neutral.
the team. I mean, I don't hate the placement. I'm just saying, like, when I break her down as what's supposed to be a villain, I'm like,
you're not really a villain. Agree.
Yeah, you're not a villain.
No, she wasn't. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, I kind of misworded it. She wasn't villainous at all.
She wasn't villainous, but she wasn't bad at not being villainous. I don't know if that's because I'm trying to like think of it like as in like how she acted. You know what I mean? Like
when they promoted the movie, like for the trailer, right? I was like, oh yeah, Ghost, this is about to be a badass villain. And the scene transition was like, wait, did they mess up on the trailer editing, or what was happening?
What's up?
Hey,
yeah, but that's Marvel does this all the time with that.
I agree with Tony right here. She was cute. She gets to go neutral.
Yeah, I do have a little bit of a thing for Hannah John Kamen. So
So
yeah.
if I wasn't married, I'd go. So I'm just
You know
saying.
what? Like, okay, like
Just that.
that is, you get a little bit of edge. But,
It's a
Just 'cause
little
for
bit-
that, we'll put you neutral.
You could be a neutral because I go.
Yeah.
Ain't that bad.
Yeah. All right.
I like a little
So
villain.
now we got
my girl.
all right. The freaking horn dog. I need to get the. Were you trying to like tame the lions? Like
Hey,
Relax.
every girl and woman that I've been with, hey, my wife is definitely a lion.
hey,
I see
can
with
help
one
you get
eye
that
open
good,
the
you know?
whole time.
This is why I am happily unmarried at the moment.
I'm happily married. I see with one eye open. It's just-
Times of life, one eye got to be open. Yeah.
that's what it is. I mean, hey, like, I'm big. I'm a big dude, but you know what? When we lay down, we're all the same size.
That's funny.
all right.
All right, Whiplash.
Before Brian really buries himself. Whiplash from Iron Man 2. Iron Man 2
Man,
Whiplash.
he is the most neutral / bad villain that we have seen. Like if Mickey Rourke is cooler than the character that he played, like if I'm gonna be
I
honest,
agree. Mickey Rourke's more villainous.
yeah. Like if you see Mickey Rourke in real life, right? You don't want to mess up around that dude. Like you think he's gonna just rip your spine out. But compared to his character, I'm like, Mickey, you are the perfect definition of when you are larger than the character that you're playing. Like I feel like you deserve better, is how I feel. So,
Absolutely.
He's
And
bad. He's bad, terrible.
I remember being I felt legitimate disappointment, even though I liked Iron Man 2. I felt legitimate disappointment when I walked out of the theater. They were hyping Mickey Rourke as this villain. It was a big deal. They had really struck gold with the first Iron Man. I was waiting hand and foot for the sequel. When I heard Mickey Rourke was cast after the wrestler, I'm like, hell yes, this is going to be awesome. He's going to be Whiplash or Crimson Dynamo or whoever they're saying he's going to play. But either way, it's going to be amazing. And then it just fell so flat.
The real villain was Iron Man himself. He was the real villain of Iron Man 2.
Yeah, like him on his self-destructive pattern. That really took more center stage than this villain that we see in the prologue of the movie.
Shoot, Justin Hammer was better than Whiplash. Like Justin Hammer was way better than Whiplash. I don't
Hell
care.
yeah.
Like he
You
was
want to put
cool.
him
Like
terrible. Yes,
terrible.
He's terrible.
Yeah.
And that's partially.
I wish didn't watch it. Like it should almost be that because it's all so bad. But
I just remember at the time when my friends and I, when we went to see Iron Man 2, I was like, look, I know some of y'all don't be reading the comics, and I'm here to tell you Iron Man has a lot of nice armor suits for different occasions, but there is not a single type of suit that Tony can build that would allow him to defeat Mickey Rourke. Like, watch, wait till we see this movie. And the scene transition, I just looked kind of bad because I was like, damn, they didn't do my boy justice. Like,
Yeah,
I didn't.
it's a shame. I was hoping for something awesome,
and we didn't get that.
No.
Renslayer. That's interesting.
Wait, Renslayer. Which one was that?
From Loki.
Oh, from Loki.
Neutral.
Loki? Yeah.
Neutral.
Yeah.
She's not good.
She's not good.
She's definitely not bad.
Yeah.
She's forgettable. It's like, oh yeah, I remember her. It's like you're just kind of, really largely indifferent about her. Like that's what it is.
She reminds me of like a company man kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like she's like, I work for the TVA and that's all I do. That's my life.
It's like that person where you're at your party and you're like, did we invite everybody? And we're like, oh yeah, Renslayer. Oh yeah, okay, yeah.
Yeah, she like the one person at the party that no one's particularly enthused that they're there, but hey, they bring beer, right?
They're like, hey, we are glad with hey, have a good time. Have a good time.
You say, hey, thanks for bringing the beer. You're you.
Yeah. Well, so Brandon Davis says, how would she forget when she kept the TVA in check?
But she didn't. Was it villainous. Like
Didn't stand out though.
she didn't
Yeah.
even remember
Yeah.
being bad. She was just doing what she was told.
Yeah.
She
Told
didn't
to do.
remember all that stuff, but he remains.
Right.
Yeah, I don't think you particularly like. She doesn't spring to mind when you think of Loki. Like, which characters do you think of when you think of the show Loki? You know,
Right.
and I'm asking you guys.
No, people legit
No,
forget her name.
no,
Forget
no.
who she
Nobody
is.
talks about her at all. It's just that
Yeah.
I've even among my friends, different viewpoints and everything. They've never mentioned Renslayer. The only time that we even talked about Renslayer was when I brought her up about the idea of how she's with Kang in the comics at one point,
Yeah.
and they was like, "Oh, really? How come they didn't make her better?" I'm like, "That's what I was asking. I don't know."
I think that last category that said didn't watch it said, "Who is she?" or
Like, who?
who's that
Question
person?
mark.
Yeah, just who?
Right.
Yeah, who is it?
Yeah. Who is she?
Renslayer? Who?
Who? What happened?
And we got Jason Entertainment. What is up, man? How you doing?
What's up,
Hey, Jason, thanks for joining.
Yeah. Really, to be Renslayer was menacing and scary. She was nice. Was nice to me.
I think she's a problem. I think she was just doing the job.
Yeah, she wasn't a problem.
She was literally middle
She
management
just works.
because she didn't
just
remember
works at
it.
the company. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
sure, but nobody's impressed by that. It's like next.
Yeah.
She's about as villainous as Mr. Anderson's boss in the
Right.
Matrix. Do you remember the boss? Like, hey, you're late. That guy. That's what.
Right. That's the same category. Like, you know what? You're late, Mr. Anderson. We don't want to have to fire you now. Like, same thing.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'm cool with that. All right, now we got another big baddie from Avengers 2, Ultron. What we got with Ultron?
I would put Ultron in good, and that's only because of the performance of James Spader. I thought he really kind of sold that character for me. And it's another character that I was let down because they built him up, as this big threat in the trailers, and I'm like, oh shit, like shit just got real. I thought he was going to be a lasting presence, and he was fine for what he was in the movie, but again, it was like Whiplash or some of the other villains. They didn't do enough with him. When they really should have done a lot with him.
I'm going to say disappointing. He's disappointing because Ultron should be incredible. He should be it. There should be no other person besides Ultron. Like, he should be the main villain for so many movies, and the movie was
be around.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm disappointed in everything about it.
Okay.
James Spader did a good job, though.
Yeah. So, like, performance, that's fine, but I'm not even going to go into the comments because there ain't a category on this list. Like, if I go off of that metric, but in the context of the movie, aside from the voice being cool and the performance, and then you just look at what he does in the movie, I was like, at no point did I feel like the Avengers would lose. I'm like, they're gonna wash this dude up. I'm like, he didn't do anything. All he was doing the whole movie was like, I have an upgrade. Look at my new body. Okay, now I'm gonna lift a heavy rock. And I'm like, are you gonna like actually do something? And then every plan that he had, it was like they stopped him. I felt like Wanda was a bigger villain than him. You know what I mean?
Dude,
like
I think all of them. I feel like Thor could have beat Ultron by himself.
Yes, absolutely.
Just with lightning bolts.
Just with light. Not even like he don't even have to charge it up. It just put it in the air for a couple seconds and then that's it.
He was getting folded at every turn.
Right. Yeah. So to me, I feel like he's neutral. Like I can't put him in good. Like, even though the performance was good, it's just the way the character works in the film and the overall MCU, extremely disappointing and a great waste of potential, like, if I'm to be honest.
Agreed. He should be great.
He should be great.
Because he should be great, and he's not even he's not on that level, that knocks him down to neutral.
Yeah.
Like you said, all he did was make a bunch of copies of himself.
Right.
Like, that's all he did.
It's literally a copy machine. It's literally
the best thing that he did was capture Black Widow. He knows how to pick them. I understand why he had her in a cage, but other than that, I was like, Ultron,
you should have did something with that. That makes you real villainous.
Right. But that's why the Hulk was so mad. He was like, "Damn, I was about to have her tonight."
Exactly. It's my turn. Terrible. All right. The Patriot, whatever.
U.S. Agent from
U.S. Agent.
was it Falcon?
What's the
and Winter
lowest
Soldier.
one we could put him in? Put him in the lowest
Nah,
one you can find. Just whatever you can put
that
him.
one? Nah, he's not the worst.
He's not even a villain. He's not even a. He's just a dude.
He's not. If I like what I said about Ghost, I gotta say about him. Like I think,
Or even Renslayer too.
But he's a dude. We said put Renslayer in bad, like or terrible.
Right,
like,
right. But I mean, see, that's why you gotta specify the different levels of bad, right? Because there's different levels to it. But with him, I feel like he was just a misguided soul. Sure, he did murder somebody, but I feel like when you look at humanity as a whole, there are so many of them that would do the same thing if the circumstances were right. So then at one point you could look at it as like you sympathize with them, even though everybody would say, well, I wouldn't do that. I'm like, you're right. But I feel like, you know what? I might have to put him in neutral. He was cool, but he never lived up to what he could have been. He should have been like,
he wasn't even
amazing.
the main villain.
Right.
I mean, even Maya Rudolph was more of the villain than
right.
He was just a douchebag.
And
that had it that they tried to create. That was just a douchebag. I mean, there's douchebags all over the place.
Oh yeah, I know plenty of them. I'm just like, douchebag.
And I'm kind of waiting for Thunderbolts before I form and whatever they do with him beyond that to kind of formulate more of a decision on him. But I understood
that shit.
I'm sorry, what were you saying?
No, I was saying they should have canceled that shit. But go ahead, like.
Yeah. We'll see. I'm kind of interested to see it. It's basically going to be Marvel Suicide Squad, which, as we know, could go either way.
I would have been excited for it until they showed the lineup, because half
of the lineup sucks. The lineup sucks. That lineup sucks. But yeah, I'm waiting to see more of U.S. Agent. But for now, I have to put him in neutral too. I can't even in good conscience call him a villain. I don't
think he's neutral. Like he's not.
Yeah,
nothing. He's the dude.
Right. I mean, hey, trust me. I'm not gonna argue for U.S. Agent. I do like him, but
because I'm not putting him the same level as Ultron. That's just disrespectful.
Oh, absolutely not. Absolutely not.
If you put Ultron in neutral, you can't put U.S. Agent in neutral. Like, no, you can't. He's mad.
Yeah,
but the thing is, like,
I'm not against it. He has some layers, but not enough layers. I get it.
Yeah, like he should have been built up a little bit more menacing, but then like Ultron failed at being like truly menacing.
Ultron was cooler. Like to me, Ultron was cooler. Not scary or sinister. He was just cool. He was like that dude that you want to chill with, and then he could just tell you about all the stuff that he will never accomplish. That's who he was.
He'll tell you all the stuff that he'll never accomplish.
That's fair. But I'm cool with either neutral or bad.
I feel like I could beat up U.S. Agent, man. I don't know. Like I just don't know. Like, dude, how you you're not on the same level. I ain't gonna beat Ghost, I feel like I'll win. Me and him against one-on-one, I'll probably win. I might have a busted lip, but I'll probably win. So like
he took the serum
in neutral.
Yeah,
even with the serum. With the serum, give me a gun. I won.
Yeah.
So what we doing? Neutral or bad? What do you guys vote?
Neutral. That's just me though.
I'm going back and forth between neutral and bad, so I feel like whatever you guys decide, I'm not really against it either way, to be honest.
That doesn't work because I say bad, he says neutral, and that means Tank, you're the one.
I say bad. He's boring.
Ghost will kick his ass. All right.
But I'm not worried about like who's gonna beat who and like we're doing super fights. I was like, as a character, he's boring. He was just boring. Like he had motivations and stuff like that. I mean, he was just boring. Same thing with Ultron. Ultron was a giant, copy machine, like you said. You know what I mean? Like he was boring. You know what I mean?
Shit, if I'm gonna be fair, like who I am right now and the stuff I can do physically, I would body U.S. Agent. I'm not worried about that.
I feel like dude, one-on-one, I'll put you to sleep. Shh, go sleep.
It's like ain't nobody scared of him. It's just more of like you'd be looking at him like, man, what's wrong with you? You gotta calm down or something, man.
You got
Mhm.
go therapy or something, man. All right. So yeah, so all you guys are saying bad.
Yeah.
Bad. So yeah, now we're going with the Grandmaster. Grandmaster, which is from Thor Ragnarok. Yes.
That was a villain. I thought Jeff Goldblum just kind of walked on set and they just kind of ran with it.
Hey, you know
Wear
what?
this.
Like the Grandmaster, like I mean, even how he is in the comics, he just like he's either a combination of like a douchebag or cool, and then villainous
Mhm.
at certain moments, right? So like
Mhm.
what they did with him is pretty fitting. Like for the
Yeah,
most part, they really
that was
killed
a
that
fun
character.
performance from Jeff Goldblum.
Yeah.
All joking aside,
So
He's just
I
a
had fun
little
watching
evil.
him.
yeah,
He's
he just yeah, yeah.
he's one of the originators. Like he's
Mhm.
one of
Been
the
around.
yeah, he's been around for forever. Like I don't know if
Yeah.
he's you know
Mhm.
I don't know. Just because he was so much fun, just put him in neutral. Like he
I could
was
put him in
fun. He
neutral.
did.
I could
I
put him
like
in
neutral.
neutral. He was one of the most entertaining parts of Ragnarok.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know. Ragnarok
I
was
mean,
great, but he was
Yeah,
great.
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
I enjoyed Ragnarok a lot, even though I would have preferred a more serious one, like especially like when you
Mhm.
look at what Ragnarok was in the comics, like. But it was fun though. It was.
It was.
Yeah.
It was. It really was.
Then Brandon used to be. He just walked on set and let him go.
This is exactly what they
Pretty
said. All
much.
right, so
That's
Jeff,
all he did.
I want you to be you.
Yeah.
I
Bad
want
action.
you to be cool as hell, cause and it's just like Jeff Goldblum is cool, So
Jeff Goldblum's the man.
yeah, just
Jeff
let him do his
Goldblum's the
thing.
man.
Yeah. So all right.
Mhm.
So
We're gonna argue about this one. We're
the
gonna argue about
actual
this.
villain of Ragnarok, Hela.
Hela is a great villain.
Oh,
Mhm.
she's incredible. Like put her at the top of the top.
She is
Yeah.
great. Like
Mhm.
she killed everyone. She didn't lose.
Mhm.
The prophecy won. It wasn't she
Right.
won.
Because and that was what I was worried about. Because like in the comics you had the whole like they who sit above in shadow, and they were the ones
Mhm.
that destroyed Asgard, and then Thor got trapped in this void and everything. And I'm like, who's gonna be the villain to compete with that? But then when I saw Hela destroyed Mjolnir and everything, I was like, oh my
Yeah.
god. Yeah.
Just look at everything that she did
Right.
immediately upon entry. You
She
know,
killed half the
The
population.
Asgardians, oh my god.
Half the
yeah, you
population
know,
died immediately just from her being
Yeah.
there.
Mhm.
Right.
Of
Hey,
gods.
hey, Hella was on point. She show up like Terrance, what's it gonna be? I'm like, yes, ma'am. Like, what you need me to
mhm.
do? Fuck them
Yeah,
Asgardians. Yep.
yeah.
You'll be
We're
scourged. I'm
doing
discouraged with you. Like,
we're
Yeah.
doing great or
Plus,
incredible.
great.
I'll do great. Yeah. Plus,
I know
Kate Blanchett
she's not
was just doing it for
iconic.
me with that look.
She's not iconic, but she's a great villain. She is
I
unbelievable
I can
villain.
go with that. I
Yeah.
because I'm thinking incredible, great. Either one of those is fine. Like I ain't gonna lose no sleep over that. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So now we got Doctor Strange. I can't remember.
Caecilius.
Is it
Caecilius.
Caecilius.
Nah,
Yeah.
bad. Nah,
Bad.
Generic.
Yeah, and it's a shame.
When you think of generic, that's what he is. No.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the very
Yeah, that
definition
is
of generic.
so true.
I almost want to put him in terrible, man. He's not even.
Mhm.
Dormammu was
right
more of a
ahead.
villain than him. Like,
Right.
Mhm.
Even though I can't wait till we get to Dormammu because I have some issues with him. But I agree with
Mhm.
what you said though. Yeah.
like
Yeah.
And again, it's too bad because, like a lot of misfires with Marvel villains, they had a great actor at their disposal.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I
Mads
agree.
Mikkelsen deserved a lot better. He really did.
He's
He was a waste.
talented, and he's talented in certain things. Because like I always feel like it depends with that actor. Because sometimes I'm like he ain't good, and then other times I'm like he's great. So I guess it just
Mhm.
depends on what he has to work with.
Yeah. So kind of getting around.
Mordo was but more of a when you're not the main villain in your own movie when you're supposed to be the villain, you can't be a villain. Like you can't be on this thing. He's between bad and terrible as a
Yeah.
villain, as an actor,
Yeah.
as a villain.
Mhm.
No, as
Right.
as the character himself was a little bit bad because at least he was somewhat entertaining.
Was
You
he?
know,
Was he?
yeah.
Was
What
he
did
really?
do? Like
was
he was
Caecilius.
just like, I'm going to open this portal. I'm going to
Yeah.
bend these buildings because Dormammu is the man. I'm like, well, I
I
don't know
mean,
why he
Yeah.
chose you. Like,
Well,
he
he
didn't
because
hurt
he
Doctor
felt
Strange.
betrayed. No,
He didn't
no.
hurt Doctor Strange. He really is
Nope.
not the one. His minion did. Like,
Yeah. And one of his
Casillas didn't do anything.
right, and one of his minions was Scott Adkins. I'm like, Scott Adkins should have been the damn villain, and then Doctor
Yeah.
Strange
Freaking
was in the
badass.
first movie. We've been killed. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, Casillas didn't do nothing. I don't know how
Right.
he's even
yeah.
barely a villain.
Mm.
Mhm.
He did bad things, and he worked for the bad man.
Yeah. Got the was it the evil magic, whatever we called it.
Eyes turning dark and everything.
Yeah. All right, so let's talk about Dormammu, the big bad guy from the Doctor Strange first movie. Where are we putting Dormammu?
Bad, because all he was just like a voice talking. Like, he didn't do anything. Like, and that's
Mhm.
sad because Dormammu in the comics is very interesting.
Mhm.
You know, whether you're talking about how he looked in the movie or when he has like more of a humanoid type of body. Like,
Yeah.
they wasted him. Like, to me,
You're
that's
gonna revisit him.
Yeah,
I
they
hope
didn't
so.
kill him. They didn't kill him. So,
But
that's
this is
just
my
a good
point. Casillas cannot be on the same level as Dormammu. Dormammu's much better than Casillas.
Yeah.
I would put Dormammu as
Okay, then put
kinda
Caecilius
terrible.
at the very bottom. Then,
Like,
how
he should
about we
be
do
like
that?
he shouldn't be even on the list.
because I
agree.
would put Dormammu at the bottom because same thing right here is like we got him, but even he came in at the end. It was like, oh,
Right.
you're the
'Cause-
bad
'cause,
guy. Hey,
You know,
sorry, my little cat.
as I mentioned earlier, it's like, okay, excluding the comics and blah blah blah. Like, you just look at what he was in the movie. I'm like, he didn't do anything.
He
Like,
didn't do anything.
It's like, what happened?
That's why
I
it's
mean,
like
he did kill Doctor Strange 50 billion times. I'm just saying
Mhm.
he did do some.
Sure.
He did. We
Yeah.
was about to destroy the Earth as we knew it, and he did. They turned time around, so he
But
did.
Right,
He
but-
didn't
just
do
wasn't
it.
there.
But
He
but at the
Caecilius did
same-
it.
No. He did.
He
Well,
was
no,
open.
he-
Oh no,
he went
Dormammu
through the
was here.
door.
He's the one that said, "Okay, now I'm going to just suck up the Earth, and I'm going to make sure everything's destroyed."
It's
Dormammu
just
was
that
the
he
one.
was so generic, though. That's the problem.
Yeah.
It's like, technically, yes, he did do stuff, and then Caecilius did a lot of the legwork. Let's be real
What's
about
up,
that.
Kenny?
But
I should
it,
put them both in terrible. Then I just can't see.
Yeah,
I don't know.
yeah.
Casillas is a
they,
bad.
they both terrible. I feel like that whole world getting sucked up and everything. I'm like, get that cheap Galactus misfire out of
It
here. I'm
was
like,
a
don't do
Galactus.
that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Exactly what it
Yeah.
was. They should both
Yeah.
be in terrible. Yeah. No.
But I mean, I would say bad because I wouldn't go terrible because like
'Cause-
these guys were
no.
terrible. They were
What did
terrible.
Dormammu did was in the end of the movie. Casillas
Yeah.
wasn't even really the bad guy. Mordo was the bad guy. Really, he was more
Right.
memorable as the bad guy. Like, there's nothing.
Mordo
he
was the
did.
bad
And
guy?
that's
Mordo
who
was the bad
everyone
guy.
remembers.
He's
They,
going.
they,
yes.
everyone mentions Mordo. They
He's
don't
the one that was
remember
created.
Caecilius, and they definitely don't remember Dormammu. Like, you would have to show
Yeah.
them a scene for like, oh yeah, I forgot about him.
Yeah.
I'm like, so he was
Yeah.
good and you forgot about him? No,
No, he was just
Yeah.
bad and forgot about it. So that makes you terrible.
Mhm.
right.
Yeah, Mordo was even worse than Caecilius and Dormammu. He made a dude crippled just for playing basketball.
Hey, you know what, man? I'd have done the same thing to come up on some magic. I know that's like pretty cruel, but at the same time, like sometimes in life, you just need more powers. Like, I'm just saying.
Man, that dude wasn't hurting nobody.
I say
No,
this:
but he has some magic.
the two
though.
that are in terrible, you move to the bottom of the list, and then you move those two to terrible.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm good with that. Let me change it. So what? Let's because it's not. I didn't watch it. We should just be
Just like
don't
who?
watch it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Who?
Yeah. Who? What happened?
Who?
There we go.
I like that.
All right. And then we got some people in here. We got Kenny Sparks. What is up, Kenny Sparks?
What's up,
What's
Kenny?
going on, Kenny?
Oh, we're gonna bring that up in a minute. He goes, at least Whiplash threw a punch.
He did. Like, Tony Stark was scared because it was Mickey Rourke. He was like, "Oh my God, I'm not gonna get a third movie." I was like, "Yeah."
Dude, he was scared of Mickey Rourke. He wasn't scared of Whiplash. He was just saying, "Oh my god!"
Right. He was like,
That's
"Oh
a
my God,
wrestler.
it's Mickey Rourke." Like, no, my name is Whiplash. He's like, "No, you're Mickey Rourke, man." Like, no.
All right, so let's
We
go
are-
to Agatha from WandaVision.
Yeah,
Kind of an interesting character. where she was around the entire show, but she didn't show she was evil until the very end. But she was there the whole time.
Bro,
You
she
know
really
what?
evil?
I'm gonna put her in.
She
neutral.
killed a dog.
She killed. I forgot.
Right.
about that.
I mean, if you go off of that, then somebody would be like, "Oh, she's incredible. She, killed the dog." But I think she was just neutral. Like she
Neutral.
fit for it, and she was interesting. Before I got just kind of irritated with the show, I was like, "Okay, you got me. What's the mystery and what's going on and all that?" But when it's all said and done, and you look at it as a whole, it could have been more. Could have been more.
It's going to be more. I think there's going to be more from her.
Yeah, with her next story, but she wasn't really the main bad guy though in that show.
I wish I cared about her, but I don't. Like even her getting the show, I'm like, why? Like
Well,
You could put her
Yeah.
in Who. I don't think she's bad or
I
terrible.
would say,
Yeah, she's not
I
bad or
wouldn't-
terrible. But
that's why I would say neutral because she wasn't bad. She wasn't great.
she
She
wasn't
was
even
fun.
good.
She was
She was just-
funny.
She's just a
you know,
person.
Yeah,
she was fun, but it's like no one's gonna necessarily be like, oh my god, if she shows up, I'm gonna start pissing my
Yeah.
pants. It's like,
Yeah.
what kind
Yeah,
of
exactly.
practical joke is she gonna play on me? That's what it's gonna be.
Mm-hmm.
yeah. Like with these guys, anybody up here, you're kind of like, oh, somebody's gonna die. With her,
Someone's
you're like,
gonna die
okay.
tonight.
Yeah.
Right. You got
exactly.
like the presence, you got what they can do. It's just the whole nine. So yeah, no.
All right.
Yeah, but I'm cool with neutral. So we got Ego, the villain from Guardians 2.
Boo, bad. No.
I actually like Ego.
I kind of liked Ego.
Wait, hang on. Did you guys like Ego or did you like Kurt Russell?
No. As much as I liked Kurt Russell, I liked Ego. Like,
Really?
I think he was underrated. I like Ego
Yeah.
a little bit.
Really? Like, so what do you guys like about Ego? What happened?
he was an evil man whore.
Yeah, and he killed all those thousands of his kids.
Yeah,
In the
he
cameras,
killed
like, he
his
killed
his
all
own
of them.
kids.
And
Ego?
he was
killed
willing
Meredith.
to kill Peter. He was willing to kill all of them. He was going to use them as a
Yeah.
battery to take over
Okay,
the entire
I'll give you
universe.
that. He did
Yeah,
kill like countless kids and stuff, and that is very terrible for somebody to do. I agree with that. It's just to me the movie was mediocre, and it was just a bunch of jokes. I feel like if they would have just made him more sinister in his personality, I don't like how they played him. That's all. It just to me, it was wrong.
think he's
I totally get
powerful,
that.
But he's powerful. He's benevolent. He's like they destroyed him. Like they had to kill him because they couldn't let him live because he would come back. He killed all his kids. He kidnapped children. The dude is like he's a villain. That's a
Yeah,
villain.
and the fact that he was so welcoming and friendly, in hindsight, when he kind of reveals what he was really doing, it just kind of
Dre
But see,
Max.
that's the
It
thing
kinda-
how you said it, like welcoming and friendly. And I feel like those were the issues I had, was that everything was welcoming and friendly and jokes and jokes and
but
like
it was a manipulation tactic on his end.
Lull you to sleep. Yeah.
no,
Yeah.
I
Put
get that
a
it was a
tumor
manipulation
in a
tactic,
Peter's
but
mom's brain.
right, no,
Yeah.
I get that it was a manipulation tactic, but it's just the whole movie, and I get it, the Guardians, they're silly, but I'm like, why didn't you make Ego more serious? You know what I mean? I feel like it would have hit harder if he just would have had, serious personality. So what?
That's
Just,
fair.
for me, I'll throw him in neutral. That's how I would put him. But,
Yeah, because I think he was serious, but to him, he's like, I'm not gonna waste my time with you guys because you're just nobody. You're gonna die. I'm gonna live forever.
Serious towards the end of the movie when his son was like, "Hey, I'm not fucking with you, Dad." Then he was like, because he was disappointed, and to my understanding, for those individuals that are parents, they don't want to hear stuff like that. That's like painful to them. So I'm like, okay, but I'm like, I wish you would have had that kind of fire the whole time, like where it was just like, oh my God, like I'm shaking in my pants. It wasn't until you get through most of the movie when you find out what he did, then you're like, oh my God, that's terrible. But I would have never thought that.
And you saw the skulls. I felt it the whole time. He was just
Because
manipulating them
it was
the
such a
entire
big
time.
hit. You're like, oh, he's a good guy. Like, oh, Peter finally gets his dad, and you're like, oh no, he's a piece of shit. Like, even worse,
for
like a horrible piece of shit.
Yeah, and for me it was how for me it was how casually he admitted he killed Peter Quill's mother by putting
Yeah,
a tumor in her
He had to
head.
put that tumor in her brain.
yeah.
All
right.
was I the only one that like laughed at that because of that reaction? Like I think it was the delivery for me that had me chuckling. I was like, he just really just casually.
Dude, I think he has
You
one of
just-
the best villain arcs ever.
Because it was
And
like,
I
man,
Yeah,
you're seeing the
I think he's-
universe for the first time. You're seeing the universe. You're like, I see it all. And then he's like, oh, yeah, I killed your mom. And then none of that matters. None of it matters. And he got pulled out. He goes, what you do?
Bothers me is like what bothers me is the fact that I didn't think the movie was as good as the first one, and then what they did with Ego, I felt like they played him for a joke, and when they reveal what he's done, I'm like, why isn't this hitting harder based upon what he's done? I feel like we were gonna forget about him when the movie was done. It was like he did stuff, but we got other villains that surpassed him significantly.
I don't know. I feel like he did more, and it took all of them to try to defeat him, and in circumstances in order to really to defeat him. Like I feel like Ego was villain. It's like what he is a villain. Is the movie great? I like the Guardians too, but
Me too.
I liked it too.
Ego is
Was
a
it
very
as
great
good as one
villain.
to you?
No.
Because I didn't think it was.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
I'd say Ego's a better villain than any of the people from one. Ego's just a better villain overall.
Okay, like in terms of like what Ego did, absolutely he did way more than Ronan. But it's just Ronan has like that personality that Ego should have had, in my opinion. That's all I'm saying. So like,
that's not
I feel like
a problem.
I'd be comfortable with like neutral or good. Like
I can see good.
But
I get that.
I'm good with good. I like.
Yeah.
I'm good with good. Great.
All right.
Let's push it, but yeah, we gotta.
Dramac, we gotta get that.
yes. So he dropped in with the super chat. I didn't want to interrupt this conversation, so I'm sorry, but man, he dropped in with a super chat. Said blessings, family. Appreciate it.
Let me just say this, guys. I don't know if you guys have been watching this whole Jonathan Majors trial. What Dramac and what Chill are doing is amazing. But I saw Dramac from day 5. His show was so good, so well done. You're doing big things. You're doing really good with this stuff. I gotta give you your props. When props are due, people should get the flowers while they're around to hear it. So if you guys get a chance, if you're interested in anything that's going on the trial, tell him Dramac is doing this thing. So his daily updates are really, really, really good. You gotta watch it. Give him opportunity. It's so good. I mean, I literally sit there and just watch it and just listen to him because he's so charismatic. So
I listened to his day 6 earlier today. So
I was just listening to Chills too, and then Dramac dropped it in there too.
Yeah.
So you're everywhere, man.
yeah. They did a whole show together for like day 3 or 4, something like that. So, but definitely, if you're interested in the whole Jonathan Majors case and everything going on, Dramac, he's got the insider details, and he's daily, and he's one of a few guys that are coming in and
man, you
giving
can
all
see
the info.
Dramac on TMZ.
I was just gonna say that news on TMZ.
That's cool that he does that because I've been seeing Chill do it a lot. Chill been killing it. So if you guys are saying that he's on point with that, I believe you.
Yeah. He was on Chill stream was a few days ago talking about it too. So, so definitely go check out Dramac. And plus, like, he gets into all the other like nerdy stuff and all the comic book movies and stuff like that.
So. Comic books. So that's what I really love about Dre. Because Dre does know the comic books. He understands what's going on, so he understands the source material. That's what's great. When you want to listen to someone, they have to understand where it's coming from,
right?
And he actually understands where it's coming from. So big ups to you, bro.
Yeah, so super appreciate it, man. So definitely give it a shot. And he said, he goes, I'm on TV in 30 minutes for TMZ. Oh, check that out. Nice. Never got to watch that one.
Nice.
Yeah. But super appreciate the super chat, man. Thank you so much. Yeah, and go check out Dramac show. Let me see what we got any drops for him. I don't know what to drop for him. What you think?
Holy shit, that is crazy good.
That was gonna be
bonkers.
There you go.
At least you didn't do it. It's the best.
Yeah, I know you're getting sick of that one.
That's what you always go to.
What was that?
What am I missing? Yo, that sounds funny. Yo.
Yeah, go ahead.
The other one. So usually I play this one.
He's the best. I love it.
So
Yep.
Yeah.
Got you. Yep.
big. So you get there. You go. You get 2.
Yep.
But yeah, I appreciate the super chat, man. Hey, go check him out on TMZ. 30 minutes from now. There you go. All right. Appreciate it. Let's get back into this tier list thing. Where we at? We got a way to go still. So all right. Who's this? I forgot.
Wait,
Oh,
no.
yeah, that's
You
the
said,
villain from the Winter Soldier.
yeah.
Yeah, wait, what you said? What you said?
You
Brian?
you said, who is this exactly?
Yeah. I forgot. I know who he is, but
Mhm.
I don't remember his name. You know what I mean?
Alexander
Like,
Pierce.
Pierce. There you
Pierce.
go.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Pierce.
There you go.
man.
And when you have to say who, that tells you where you should put him.
I just think like
You know,
Hydra.
hey,
I was like, oh, Hydra dude.
you know what? Hey, check this out. Pierce literally bitch slapped the Winter Soldier. That
He
is some of
did do that.
that is some of the hardest shit I've seen. And I'm gonna say this. Look, even though Ego was killing kids and all this other craziness, I was like, if you can backhand the Winter Soldier and just stare at him like you gonna do what I say, I'm like, you got to be one of the hardest dudes around. Like, I'm
It's
Yeah.
easy to do when you're brainwashed. I mean, if I brainwash you, then I can backslap you. I mean, I guess.
But it's still like, you never know when he can snap out of it. And that was always the thing with Winter Soldier, because he can get his memories back at any moment. He can remember something. He can stop you. He still has his physical ability, so you still run a risk of attacking him.
Yeah.
Is Pierce really? Is he on the same level?
Oh,
I
no,
think
I'm
that
not saying that.
he
I'm not
might
saying he's
be.
good per se,
Mhm.
but
He might be
I would say neutral. I'll
neutral.
say
Yeah.
neutral. Because he's just a rich
neutral.
guy doing evil rich guy shit. You know what I mean? It's like, dude,
But I
you're just
gotta
an evil
say,
rich
though,
white guy.
I mean, he did accomplish a lot. I mean, all that
Mhm.
stuff with snapping up Shield and backhanding the Winter Soldier, and Captain America have to be on all his P's and Q's, and Nick Fury getting wrecked and all. Like, he did a good job. Like, and
Yeah.
Captain
He should
America,
be
the
on the
Winter
same level
Soldier,
with neutral. I think neutral is a good one.
yeah,
I can go with great, and it's actually
Well, great,
Great?
really.
yeah. I'll go with great. Terrence,
Wow.
you actually took the words out of my mouth. He's a great villain for exactly all the reasons you just mentioned. To me,
So
Yeah.
you're going like above
Great. So above Red Skull.
Red Skull.
yes.
okay. Okay, how about we settle in the middle and put him in good then? Like, maybe that's more fair.
Okay, I'm willing to compromise.
He's as menacing as Ego. Like, wow. Okay, whatever.
You know what?
Yeah.
Like, I don't think I found Ego menacing. Like, he did a lot of terrible stuff. I
Pierce
agree.
was a terrible person, right? He was a terrible
Right.
person.
Yeah.
He did stuff that was messed up, but he didn't kill thousands of kids. He didn't kidnap children. He didn't
shot-
try to take over all the planets in all the
Galaxy.
universe. Like, it's like
This,
that's
this
wow.
man. Okay, let's look at what he did. Right. I went over the stuff with Shield and Nick Fury, like all the stuff that he orchestrated,
Yeah.
backhanding the Winter Soldier, and he literally was standing face to face with individuals that could snap him in half, and he just didn't care. Like, he's that dude.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
he's the guy where
So his
a lot
power
of
is being
humans will
a
say-
strong white guy.
That's what I was gonna
Well,
say.
I mean, he was a strong white guy. I mean,
his superpowers be I'm rich and white, and you can't do nothing about it.
rich.
If he had his way, he would have wiped out.
Yeah.
Yeah, he would have wiped out thousands of people if he had his way.
If Captain
Ego
America
did wipe out millions of all type of people.
you're right, but I mean,
If he
didn't
had his way.
backhand the Winter Soldier, and
He didn't have to. Ego would just destroy it all. Over. He would step with his mama and then spit out his bones.
no, you're right. It's just that Pierce, like, to me, Captain America: The Winter Soldier is one of the best comic book movies ever made, and like Pierce did have a lot to do with that. Like, I feel like he was part of the many pieces that were well done. I was like, he's fine. So yeah, but
Okay. I just say, but you say great, and I'm like, What?
Yeah,
Over
yeah.
ego? Like no, I don't see it. I
I feel like
I
for
said
me,
what I
good
said. What
is
I
good
said.
next,
like
you know.
ego literally destroyed planets and kidnapped children
You're
and
right.
spit
His
out their.
his body count is higher. You know, it's probably in
Mhm.
the trillions, maybe. You know what I'm saying? Like, but you know,
Peter's mom, and he just looked at him and said, "Oh yeah, I hate to do that, man. That's messed up." And then Peter shot him, and he looked and said, "How dare you? Like, what is more boss than that? Like, I
Yeah.
don't know."
hey,
And
hey,
he was
I'm
like,
like,
I'm
for me,
still
Peter.
sticking with the whole backhanded Winter Soldier. Like,
"But he put a tumor in his mama's brain and just looked at him and was like, "Hey,
yeah, he
yeah,
did. He
I
did.
hated to do that," and admitted to it.
You're
Yeah,
right. You're right.
And didn't even blink, like, yeah, this is it.
yeah. I guess because
Yeah.
like you say, he's just a rich white guy, you know, in charge of this giant corporation, or not corporation,
Wait, hold on.
evil corporation
We
with
gotta say
Hydra.
it fully. He's a rich, evil, intelligent white guy. Because I mean, you know, you gotta all those factors together is what allowed him to accomplish what he did, which is
Mhm.
it's really nothing to scoff at. Like that's a big deal to make Fury scared and Shield getting compromised.
Mhm.
Like all that is a big deal. And Captain America on the run, like not many can pull that off.
You said, didn't he take out Tony Stark's parents? Yeah,
Yeah, but I'm just saying
but
you
he
put it
used
on
a
the
brainwashed
same
super
level as
soldier.
ego. You're doing the same place as He Who Remains, who killed billions and trillions of people and looked at you, admitted it, and just looked at you eating an apple, or just sitting there, just like, I'm going to take over this blob, like with the whole
You
earth,
have
like is the
you have a
blob.
great point, and I think it's just more of like, you know, there are different levels to it is the
Hmm.
best way that I could say it, you know. Yeah.
I can't see him as great when I see Hella, and then you gonna say I put Pierce at great, and I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah,
I can't.
that's why I think good or neutral would
I'm
be,
okay with good at most good, you know, because like he did what these guys kind of did with that story in that movie,
Mhm.
you know. And I'm like, okay, you know, as if you want to keep it in that kind of like ideas, like, you know, these guys did the thing in the one thing they were in, you know. I'm like, okay,
yeah.
yeah, but yeah, I don't think he's more evil than some of these other guys, but
No.
Like,
And then
no.
also
Yeah.
like we got to factor in too like what he would have done if he wasn't stopped, you know. That's also a thing too. Like he got stopped. Like he had to
yeah,
be stopped, you know. So yeah.
And then I say, but once again, what would ego do if he didn't get stopped?
Oh, it would have been a million times worse, absolutely. But
You
see,
know,
that's why, you know, that's why you got the different levels of like, you know, evilness and assholes and accomplishments and you know stuff like that. So
yeah. All right, so it looks like chat's saying good too.
you should
So
almost
all
have
right.
a good God tier and a good person tier. Like
A good person too.
fair enough. Yeah.
you're Bill Gates. He's Bill Gates, bro. Like, I don't know what you're talking about.
Dang.
That's funny.
Yeah.
That is funny.
Oh boy.
All right.
Okay, let's go
So
Darren Cross.
we'll leave him there. Yeah. The Wasp. What is it? Not the Wasp?
That's
What's his
Darren
name?
Cross.
No, I know Darren Cross, but it was like the what was this? The Hornet or
Yellow Jacket.
Yellow
Yellow
Jacket. There we go.
It's,
It was
yeah,
some kind of
dude, yeah.
bug.
He neutral.
He was
Yeah.
villainous, at least, yeah.
You know, like,
Yeah.
but
He was trying to
Yeah.
get on the level of those other evil humans. He's just a dude.
right. I think
Didn't
he
he-
was more hurt, you know, that Hank Pym
Uh-huh.
didn't embrace him a certain way. So and then he kind of started doing some bad stuff like I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna show that I'm better than him. And that is a real thing, you know, that does
Mhm.
happen. And, you know, depending on the resources and how intelligent the person is, they can make some stuff happen. So I feel like he was trying to climb that ladder and then Ant-Man smacked him off. That's what
Yeah.
happened.
And when you get
Mhm.
smacked off by Ant-Man, that means you weren't that villainous. So neutral's
Yeah.
perfect.
Yeah.
Right,
And
right.
also like
Neutral's
wasn't
good.
the suit like it like messed up his
That's what
brain or
his
some
brain-
shit? Yeah. So
Yeah.
it's like
Yeah, he
He wasn't
got
like
like-
Doc
got
Ock.
wrecked.
the
Yeah,
Doc
that-
Ock kind of thing they did.
Yeah, any of that technology in there, like you get in that, there's a huge
Yeah.
risk every time. Like,
Yeah. But I always feel that's a cop out for being a bad guy. I was like, oh well, he's not really bad. It's just, you know, the thing fried his brain. I was like, whatever. But neutral, I'm cool with neutral. I like it. All right, now this
Same.
is a good one. So we're talking Winter Soldier, not Bucky, not who he became, but Winter Soldier,
Winter Soldier. in
in Winter
good,
Soldier.
good.
I'm going to disagree with you and say great.
That's fine too. That's fine
He
too.
is the real villain. That's why I was like, y'all talk about Pierce. I'm like, no, man. Winter
But
Soldier,
but
he killed Iron Man's parents. The dude
you're right. You're
and
right.
and got away with it.
got away
Okay,
and looked
you're
at him and
right.
said, I did it.
You're right, but at the same time, right? I always take in consideration who the badass answers to, right? Even though you out there
Mhm.
doing the blood, sweat, and tears, I'm like, somebody had to tell you to do all this stuff, get you in that mindset, and point the weapon where it needs to go, right? So, yeah,
Yeah, no, I hear you, but understand, Darth Vader is the greatest villain of all time. Now Palpatine.
Darth Vader is a beast. Love me
You know
some
what I'm saying?
Darth
Like
Vader,
That's
he answers to
interesting.
Palpatine, but
right?
Darth Vader's the most evil villain of all time. Like he's the
Well, well,
dude.
well, well.
I
I
get what you're
mean, we
saying.
saw what happened with Darth Vader when Luke was getting shocked up. He was like, "Father, we got to go get some ice cream cones. Like, there's still some good in your heart." And then he was good. Like
It's
he
like I
fulfilled
do
the
like ice
prophecy.
cream.
But Darth Sidious, though, this man was comfortable manipulating, brainwashing, sending others to do stuff. To me, like I
No,
feel like that's
he's a
just as
horrible guy.
important.
You're right. He's a horrible guy, and he lived for almost forever. But yet, and he had
Right.
clones of himself. But when
Yeah.
you say villain, Darth Vader is the number one villain. So that's why I feel like Winter Soldier should be because he did it. He did all the stuff. Yes, he was brainwashed, but he did all of it, and then
Right.
just sit there and looked at you.
Right. That's true. I'm just saying, like, even like with someone like me, a lot of the stuff that I know how to do martial arts wise,
Mhm.
as badass as I am, there's individuals more badass than me because they taught me how to do that shit. So,
Mhm.
yeah.
But dude, how do you
Yeah.
use it? You know,
Right, right. For me, I'm not like a bad dude per se. I'll use it if a human get out of line, might snap them up a little bit, but
hey, I will sweep the leg.
Mhm.
Get out of here.
right.
Well,
High
too
five.
much Cobra Kai.
Yep. Yep. Crease. Yep. Yep.
I will sweep the leg. I'm right there at the great level. Like I'm a villainous.
Yeah, I hear you. Yep. I had my fair share of that too. Yep.
So Jason's saying incredible. Kenny is also saying incredible.
Mhm.
I'm not going to argue between
I'm not gonna
incredible and
argue
great.
with any of that. Yeah. Any of
He's
No.
that is fine with me. Like to
I
me,
mean,
if you're on
yeah.
point, you're on point. So
because
Yeah.
I feel like he's one of those dudes that like we're talking about all these great, even ones I keep on bringing up Ego. Ego in his human form, Winter Soldier will whoop his ass. Like this is the dude is and he would just do it. Bucky
right,
is that dude. I feel like he at least should be a great.
Mhm.
Mhm.
right.
I'm cool with great. Yeah, I don't know
Yeah,
about
I'm
incredible,
good
but
with
I'm
great.
cool with
Fine,
great
yeah.
because these guys are different. They're on a different level of villainy.
They're it.
Yeah.
I
There's only
agree.
one
At
other
the end of the
person
day,
you put up
he
there.
was brainwashed. You know what I mean? So like he couldn't make the decision that those two guys are kind of making. You know what I mean?
And
Like
and I and,
that's
and I
my
was
only thing.
sad too when I saw that. Like when he was fighting Cap, because I've had my fair share of
Mhm.
like friends leaving and betraying you, and
His
them
name is in
ending
the
up being
title.
different individuals. So that had me just thinking about a lot of stuff from my own life. I'm like, man, I would fucking hate that shit if my boy turned out like that. So
It
Mhm.
hurt. It cut him real deep. And he
Oh yeah.
think what he did. What Cap should be on his list as a villain for what he did. He knew about Tony Stark's parents the entire time. Civil War, Cap was the evil one. I'm saying it.
Yeah, that's
whoa,
why I can't. I cannot watch the last 15 minutes of Civil War without seeing red. The last 15 minutes
He
of
is the
Civil War have
evil
me
dude
like,
in 15.
no.
Those last
To
10
me,
minutes, he's the evilest dude.
Mhm.
Tony, I was against Tony because he was taking away the idea of choice. I'm
I
like,
hear
I
you.
can never do that.
Tony's an
you.
asshole. He's an asshole.
I think anyone would
when you know your best friend, supposed best friend, like killed your other supposed best friend, and don't tell nobody.
Mhm.
Yeah, but it wasn't him.
I agree. I think
You know what I
that
mean?
that's
You didn't
messed
tell him.
up. But we all
Yeah.
know that
Why?
Cap is a good guy. It's like he
Yeah.
probably felt conflicted. He didn't want
Yeah, oh
nothing
yeah, I'm
bad
sure.
happen. Because
Because being
everyone
conflicted
makes
is what
mistakes.
makes you not evil. I don't know, man. I'm
No,
just
no,
saying.
I'm
I'm
just
just
saying
Yeah.
like
letting you
Cap,
know.
but Cap, Steve Rogers through and through though, he's a good dude. Like he makes mistakes, but he's not intentionally trying to, cause anybody harm. And I feel like Iron Man in that situation, he was so flooded with his pain that he didn't
Mhm.
take that in consideration. And none of us would. We wouldn't think
I
about
wouldn't
that
either. I
until
would have
after,
killed Captain America immediately right there. I would have
I
fried his
I w-
ass
And that's
I would have
immediately
too.
right there.
That's why Captain
He
America
tried.
didn't tell him. He's like, you don't know how to handle your emotions.
It
Right.
You
would
don't know how to
And-
handle.
no one
Because
would
you-
handle that right.
No one would
and
handle
that's
that
why
right.
Cap had, that's why
Superman.
Cap had to
Well,
wash him up. He's
Sup-
like, look, man,
But that's
you
why.
ain't coming.
But then you was
Superman
like,
would have killed him. Superman
But-
would have killed him.
But that's the whole
he's
thing. What Terrance is saying is Captain America is the ultimate good guy in the Marvel universe. Like he is, everything he does is because he knows it's good. You know what I mean? And that's why he's like, but also, when are you gonna tell him? It's like, oh man, you almost got fucking killed by Hulk. Hey, by the way, you know, it's like,
Hey, no, they've had
and
lots
that's
of
the
time
question.
together. That's
you know,
And that's
yeah.
the question, because I even asked my friends, because we were split down the middle. We were like rolling like 15 deep to see Civil War, and half of us were with Cap, the other half were with Iron Man. My friends that were with Iron Man, I'm like, y'all lucky y'all like family, because y'all was about to lose this friendship siding with Iron Man. But I was like, okay, so
It's
what
the
would
last
you have
15
told
minutes.
Iron Man then?
Yeah,
And they never answered that question.
The answer is always Cap into that last 15 minutes of that movie. And I would have killed him. Like, first of all, Batman
he was
would've
right to
killed him.
blow Bucky's arm off.
Superman would have killed him. every hero would have killed him at that point. You did with my parents. Batman became Batman because of his parents. Like, I mean, that's the level that he did. And he was, you're my friend. And you're
you
gonna
know what though? To be fair though, and that's a great point you brought up about Batman. But you know, with Batman, it's interesting because I have seen him so many times get close to that edge, and he pulls himself back. So maybe Batman would be the one to not kill him, but he would beat him within an inch to his life, though. Like, let's not, make no mistake there.
He would have been in the hotel, the hospital, like with all broken bodies, all his
Right,
hands and arms.
Yeah, Gordon or one of the Robins or somebody would have to pull him back. Bruce, like, like.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the last 15 minutes of Civil War had me like, fuck you, Steve.
Nah, see, I can't, because Bucky was brainwashed, so it really wasn't.
I don't
It's not
care.
about Bucky being the bad person. It's about you being my best friend.
Yeah.
And not doing all this stuff.
But as soon as I tell you, you're gonna lose it, and now you're gonna go kill my best friend who had no control of doing it, and that's exactly why he didn't tell him. He's like, you don't know how to handle it.
It's not your parents.
Yeah.
But why am I gonna also open up this other wound? You know, you already kind of.
Because when I find out,
because for reasons that the last 15 minutes of that movie displayed, the truth was going to come out sooner or later.
Those are bad positions to put, but you can't do that and then look in someone's eyes, say you're my friend, and try to tell me what's right and wrong when you're being that. Can't.
I feel you, but forget Iron Man. I saw what he did to Spider-Man in that Civil War comic, and like how when Spider-Man tried to have his own opinion, he almost murdered him, and then Punisher had to save him. Like, no, forget Iron Man.
But the whole thing is Iron Man is trying to do the thing that supposedly Captain America did for him. It's like, oh, we're gonna take away your autonomy as a superhero. We're gonna take your autonomy away, and you can't say. You have no choice. But now it was flipped. That's the whole point of it. It was flipped. It's like this thing that you wanted to do to other people. Well, here you go. I'm doing it to you as a personal friend on a personal level and all this stuff. Yeah. And now it's a problem. Now you get why I'm saying things need to be like you can't do
your parents.
Yeah. And if I'm standing 5 minutes away from the guy that I just watched murder the shit out of my mom, you're catching a repulsor blast to the face.
You're my best
friend. It wasn't him. He wasn't.
No.
I still got two dead parents.
You knew. So I have two dead parents,
and you dead parents,
and you gonna continuously try to
be
my friend.
Two dead parents, though. We could work that out. We can get us some Infinity Stones, and we could bring them back. Everything fine. Like
that, but that wasn't his thing. He was just, I'm just gonna keep the secret. I'm just going to keep.
No, he said
he would have taken that to the grave if he could have.
No. Steve was like, "Hey man, like you my boy. Like I didn't know how to tell you. It's like who would? It's like we all get like what was the right thing to do. What maybe he should have did, but that's a hard situation. It's really tough. So
it is. But then you end up with the situation where now you got both of them sitting there looking at each other because then don't start the Civil War with Bucky being around. Hey, Bucky, you need to go over there no matter what. You're not
Also-
part of this situation. You do not come a part of this argument at all.
I
You
would've
stay
told
the
him
hell
too.
away.
Yeah,
Yeah, and I'm
Bucky, what you doing outside? Yeah,
Yeah,
And mind you-
you bring him into the situation with
Mhm.
Iron Man there, and he has to look at him. Eventually, stuff is going to come up. But he put him in that situation.
And mind you guys, I'm slightly biased in this conversation because Brian and Tank know this. I've had ever since childhood. I've had like a deep seated hatred towards the character of Bucky Barnes ever since I was a child. So I'm kind of biased towards this, so, and that just kind of amplified it for the time being.
Damn,
So
like that's a deep story, yo.
Yeah,
I fucking hate. Brian knows this. There for a very long time, ever since I was probably about 12 years old, I've hated the character of Bucky with a fiery passion.
Wow.
Because he killed
Dang.
Wolverine's love. It was like,
Oh,
like-
okay, I feel you on that. Now
But-
that's making more
yeah.
sense. I was like,
yeah, but that's all
Yeah,
right.
and mind you, I thought things were going to be different in the context of the movies because I've always liked Sebastian Stan. But Civil War made me hate Bucky to the point where when he was the first to get snapped away in Infinity War, I started laughing in the theater.
You're like, yes,
no, you did not laugh at my boy getting turned into ashes. That is wrong.
Oh, I
Hilarious.
had to bite my lip in order to stop. I was so gleeful.
That is wrong. Like a tear literally trickled down my cheek, and I don't know. No, I was like,
Yeah, like
Tony's.
when the
Tony
whole
wasn't sad.
yeah when the whole theater was silent, like I did the Pennywise laugh too. I was like,
damn.
I bet you did too. He's not even
That sounds
my
messed
boy
up.
Bucky don't deserve that, man.
All right, let's
Yes,
let's
he
run
did.
through this.
he deserved to get his arm blown off too.
One last thing,
Dang.
because it doesn't have to really like go back. The one issue I had for this movie was assuming that he learned that all the secrets got released in Winter Soldier. How didn't Tony find out about it on his own by Civil War? Because that was the whole thing at the end of that.
That's because Tony, like when you look at what he was doing in the context of the MCU, he was always doing something. So it's impossible for him to focus on everything. I just think he was otherwise distracted and preoccupied. That's
That's a
how
good point.
Possibly,
Not just that, though.
but
I also
that's
believe that
true.
he trusted Cap so much that
Oh,
he knew
absolutely.
something that when you have unbelievable total trust in someone, then you don't even worry about that. Like I'm not even going to worry.
I'm not even saying that. Iron Man should have known before Captain America even found out, because it got released to the internet, all the secrets, all the blah blah blah, and that's like the whole how it ends, because Black Widow had to like oh, how are they going to treat you when they find everything out? So in theory, that's when everyone found out. How did Steve?
I think it's because it's the internet.
Iron Man.
Yeah,
the
it probably
internet
wasn't
lied.
on there though. No, it probably
The
wasn't.
internet.
It was
Dude
probably the
literally
one
made
thing.
a person, made Ultron, who was like, oh, we're going to connect this thing to the internet. It was like, you have Friday at that point. I believe that was Friday. I was like, you make freaking AIs that do all this work for you. And you're telling me they're like, hey, there's this video about your parents that kind of popped up. I noticed. That was my only problem with.
I think it wasn't there.
But
It wasn't
I'm
there.
saying he's at that level of like, I can create a person who's like connected to the internet. Not just Ultron, but Friday, Jarvis, but for some reason, like all my AIs just missed out on this.
Here's the thing, though. Like you still have to tell them to do stuff, like because they're not going to.
They're AI.
Know that,
Yeah, but they're not looking for.
They're not looking for that specific.
Who killed my parents? That's not the thing that he was looking
you're
for.
telling me, so all this
He thought he
information
already
got
had
dropped.
answers.
All this information got dropped.
It
all
might
at
have
the
not
same
been
time.
there.
And then Captain or Iron Man would have been like, whatever.
The only thing that I can.
It's not like
AI
Steve Rogers
do-
read it on the internet. It's not. It's not like we don't
No.
know that information was part of that drop. We don't know
Everything was part of the drop. That was the whole part of that movie. Everything.
To me, okay, like with AI, the only thing I can see AI doing automatically, especially on that level without you instructing them to do it, is if, like say in their case, Tony, if he's in immediate danger, like somebody is plotting to kill him, like they'll let him know stuff like that. But something on that level, I think they would have to know what they're looking for. Like, hey, search all the mainframes for X, Y, and Z, and then they would be able to pull up stuff like that. That's how I see it.
I don't know, just the smartest man in the MCU, like couldn't like, and other people didn't tell him either, So, I
And
don't know.
also like you
But
you
then
know you
other
want it
people
to
weren't
be
his best friend.
right and
But,
true,
but I'm saying before he even got to that point, you're gonna have an ancient freaking guy who has no idea, who's barely learning what the internet is, find out
if he
before
would
the
have
dude
found
who
out
is
like that
literally
though,
like,
we wouldn't have had the Civil War stuff because
yeah,
you also
yeah,
want there
that's
to
the
be
thing.
moments, right?
There's plot
Certain
holes.
things that hit.
That's why
I mean,
that's like a giant plot hole for me. That once I started thinking about it and watched it a few times, I was like, that's doesn't make sense.
now
But
is that a regular like common sentiment that that's a plot hole? Because to me, I don't view it as that, but I
It's saying
understand that.
that was not part of the leak. That's what it says on everything, every site.
that doesn't make any sense. Then that's a plot hole in the other movie because they literally say everything came out. Then why would Black Widow like not hide her own shit? You know what I mean? It's like, if it's everything or it's not everything. If it's everything, it's everything.
Remember though, before we got her movie.
Guys, I'll be right back. I got a lot of laundry to do. I'm sorry. I'll be right back.
No
All right,
problem.
man.
But remember, like Black Widow, she had a whole agency. They're naturally going to cover stuff up because they don't want that whole thing to be exposed. That's supposed to be in the shadows. And then on top of that, she had Nick Fury. She had multiple individuals looking out for her for different reasons, whether it was to help her out or for their own selfish reasons. So with Black Widow, it's different.
Yeah, I'm just anybody. You tell me it's like no one found it on the internet and just threw it up on Twitter. You know what I mean? Back then, it's like all this information became public, and then they're just like, oh, well, we're gonna hide this one thing. You know what I mean? It's like,
right. No,
because there's nothing else that was hidden. So that's why I always thought about it. But I was like, again, I'm not nitpicky like that too crazy, but all these movies have plot holes in it in one way or another, something silly, something stupid, like Age of Ultron got a shit ton of plot holes in it. I still like the movie enough.
It says it wasn't in the file.
Says who?
Yeah, so
that's what it says. Like I'm looking at 4 or 5 different sites. Said it was 9 to 5 because they don't know who killed his parents. They just knew the circumstances. They didn't know who actually did it, and he didn't know.
Yeah.
But how did Zemo get it? You know what I mean? It's like then that's a plot hole in the other movie in Winter Soldier because they said she released everything because
everything they knew. Everything that they knew. That's what it's saying. It says
it's a folder in a folder in a folder. Nah, that's a plot hole. That's a plot hole.
But here's the thing though, like, okay, whenever you have something where they say, okay, we release everything. I feel like everything is not necessarily what that word means. It just means, so much of it's where it feels like everything, but there's only going to be so much that is available in terms of everything. There's always going to be something missing. And I think that was part of what was missing is, what happened there.
Like I said, that's fine if that's what you want to explain it, but
here's what the MCU actually says. It says, at the beginning of Civil War, when he learned how to create artificial representation of reality, he used it to clear all traumatic memories of himself.
He used it to clear all
traumatic memories. It's actually a quote from the movie.
So yeah,
wait, who's this?
Like,
it's Tony did.
Tony
at the beginning of American Civil War, Captain America Civil War, when he learned how to create AI, he used it to clear all traumatic memories up for himself.
So that's the thing, right? Because I do remember that.
Don't make any sense.
That's what
that's when he used AI. What's up, L?
I mean, he's a Marvel character. A lot of shit don't be making sense.
Exactly. That's why I said like I don't get too crazy about like things like that.
No. I get where you're coming from. I really do. Yeah.
All right. As I was saying 10 minutes ago, let's get back to the list.
Yeah, I know. It's going big thing, feeling better. L, I'm right there with you. I've been feeling horrible for like a month.
We get more deeper in this conversation than the MCU. Like
I know
they don't actually think about these things.
No.
Yeah.
No.
All right, let's try to knock this out in like an hour. If we could.
No, we're gonna go through like next 15 of these and then be done.
Yeah, we can skip around. We don't need to. We can like let's
Thanos needs to be up there. Thanos, put Thanos in Incredible.
Yeah, just put him Incredible. We already know what's up.
Yeah.
He's incredible. Yeah, that's it.
All right. Yep. Malekith. Iron Man. Thor 2, Dark World.
Let's put it like this. the guy shows up. He gets washed by Thor's mother, and the henchman was more badass than him. Like I'll just leave it at that.
I mean, he's between bad and terrible. Like Laffy is worse than in Malekith. Like so, whatever. He's whatever.
I'm okay with terrible.
Like he's not.
I'm
He's
okay
not
with
even that bad. Like he's
And
nothing.
who?
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. He should be
just skip it.
in who?
Yeah, just a who. I mean, I'm okay with that too. If you want to put them all the way at the bottom.
I don't argue.
Yeah,
His
no
hair's about him.
argument here.
Yeah.
Aisha?
Aisha, which was Guardians 2?
Guardians. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Guardians 3 and 1. And, no, Guardians 3
Two,
and 2.
3, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait.
Yeah.
We talking about the golden chick?
The
golden chick.
Yeah.
Man, she was weak, man. Like,
I think she's terrible. Malekith is who? She's terrible.
right.
Because at least she did something to actually change the universe. She gave us at least Adam.
Yeah.
He gave us Adam.
Yeah, just one of my friends was telling me, he's like, man, T, but I remember he told me, like, yeah, she looked good. And I'm like, I'm not talking about her looks. It's like how her character works. He's like, oh, yeah, the character's trashed. And I was like, see?
I'm either terrible or who. I'm
Yeah.
either one.
I'm okay with either one of those either, too. I mean,
I'm
you
with
can put her who.
terrible.
I'll be like, whatever. Because this next one's bad, too. Hammer. Fuck.
Justin, all right. When Brandon comes back, I'll ask him about Aisha. But I'm pretty sure he's
we
gonna agree with
just
that
keep
one.
on going.
But,
No, we gotta keep on going. No, we gotta go backwards.
Justin Hammer. Iron Man 2.
Cool. He's cool, but you know.
Maybe not. I would put maybe bad.
He's just in bad. He's just a bad character.
I'll say bad. You know, because
I'll say this. I did like him, but I'm not gonna vouch for him to the degree of anything else. It's just I do like that actor a lot. You know what I mean? And so
What I miss?
we're on Justin Hammer right now.
Yeah, he'd be a very solid neutral.
I don't even think he's
It was, yeah. He was basically like the anti-Tony Stark in the movies, or in the movie.
He was much worse Tony Stark, like without powers. He's an awful dude. Like this is bad. He's bad. It's just
Love Sam Rockwell in the role though. But yeah, he was okay.
Yeah.
You know,
I put bad.
Yeah, he's
You know,
bad.
I put bad. Maybe neutral, but I don't think he's terrible because
he's not up to Darren Cross. At least he's worse. He's Tony Stark, but worse in every way.
Yeah.
In every single way. Like Jude Law.
Which is funny because like here you got
but worse in every way.
A rich white guy, you know, who's good, and then another rich white guy who's bad.
It's
but
richer. There's a richer white guy.
That's true. Yeah. Yeah, but I do agree with him, but as bad. I'm good with that. All right. Mysterio from one of the Spider-Man movies.
Spider-Man No Way Home.
No Way Home. Or Far From Home.
Far From Home.
I would put him in good because they did what they could do with Mysterio. Like that's a character where I feel like it was executed really well, you know, for what they did.
I
thought the illusions were great. And
yeah, they nailed the illusion shit. I was like, and then Jake Gyllenhaal, I thought he did a good job. So
yeah.
I'm a good person.
Yeah.
Good?
Yeah.
Yeah, good, yeah.
Plus he's pretty much ruined Peter Parker's life, the son of a bitch.
Yeah, he had lasting after he died. He still lasted. Like
right, like he was so cool that Peter was like, "Hey man, hey, you want all this tech? Hey, it don't matter. I trust you. I'm done being Spider-Man. I'm trying to get me some Zendaya. So yeah, here you go. Yep, there you go."
Did anyone blame him?
Right.
All right. So now Vulture, another Iron Man, Spider-Man character from
Vulture was a cool ass character, dude.
He really was.
He's cool. Hey, and I'm gonna say this. Like I was telling humans, they're like, "Oh, how was that in comparison to the comics. I was like, Michael Keaton's Vulture is cooler than what I read in the comics. I'm just saying.
100%. 100%.
Absolutely.
It just makes it so much better.
Yes. So good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Plus his speech to Peter was absolutely awesome too. The whole scene in the car was just I thought was
That
like
was
how
so epic.
Damn, I was like, yo, I was like, this is funny because I was just making a joke about Batman threatening Spider-Man, but I was like, Peter, you better do what you're supposed to do because somehow I'm scared, so you better
Yeah.
listen to him. Like,
Mhm.
It's kind of told all the younger kids who never saw him as Batman. Like
Right.
they're like, oh no, this is why he's the best Batman. It's like,
Yeah.
even when he's not Batman, you can already like, oh, I'm scared of him. I'm like, yeah, imagine if he had a fucking Batman suit on. Like,
Right,
Almost,
that-
I
that-
will almost
yeah.
put him at great just because that's how much I love.
Right,
Almost put him at
But
great.
he was on point. Like, I just
Yeah.
these movies
I wouldn't
have a
mind
way.
great because also like the purpose why he did what he did was good, and he really wasn't harming anybody. He was just stealing from rich people.
Okay, check this out, right? The reason why I want to keep him in good is because when you watch the film and you get to the end of Spider-Man Homecoming, it's like you feel like he's not 100% evil. It's like he just made a bunch of bad choices, for seemingly good reasons. But I'm like, he's not Green Goblin though. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, he can't be great. Yeah, because Green Goblin is the best. I feel he's one of the better villains. Period.
Yeah.
So yeah,
It's
put him
like-
in good. He's good.
Yeah, because the worst thing he's doing is he's making weapons and selling them on the street, which is bad. But he's not like trying to take over the world, or he's not trying to destroy anybody. You know what I mean? Like he's just trying to make money.
It's very limited in scope.
He's street level good.
And he does love his family. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Yeah. All right. And then we got like Vulture was great. Some people say Vulture is incredible. Like, man, you really like Vulture, huh, Brandon?
No, he was a good villain.
He was great. Yeah.
For where we were in the movie. The movie was street level, beginning of Spider-Man. He was great for that, but it's just when you know Green Goblin's coming in, you can't put him on the same level as Green Goblin. You just can't.
Yeah. All right.
We gotta be careful here, guys, because what if Sony is watching this and we giving them
ideas,
props, and then they gonna be like, "Oh, see, we're on the right path." Like, no,
don't do it.
Yeah.
They're watching CCXP2 right now in Brazil, so it's all right.
They don't have the internet.
They got enough.
Watch us.
Not enough band to do that.
Bandwidth. All right. Let's talk about Ronin. So Guardians 1, the big bad guy, I guess. He was ultimately working for Thanos, which we kind of knew. But he kind of turned on him at the end. So
I mean, he was a good villain, but he got beat by a dance move, man.
Oh yeah, what are you doing? Like, yeah.
I'm
I asked the same question.
Yeah.
I asked the same question as Ronan. I was like, what the fuck is he doing? Like,
so what are you thinking? Good, neutral? Say Ronan neutral, Ronan good.
I mean, Guardians was a great movie, and him being the villain was essential to it.
Yeah, James Gunn adapted the best arc of Guardians, the 2008 one, right? So like that was the best one, and he did a good job. Like he elevated those characters, in my opinion, based upon what I
did.
Yeah.
That's good.
Okay.
Only got beat by dance battle. That's worse than being beat by ants.
Yeah. Ronan, I guess
neutral.
Either neutral or good. Like
he's between neutral and good. Yeah.
Yeah, I was kind of conflicted with those two.
Yeah, I'm good with neutral.
He's a top of neutral.
Yeah.
But
he did try to. Yeah, he did try to destroy Xander. He did kill a lot of people. Yeah.
He was definitely wasted. He should not have died. They should have let him be back because he would have been he would have been great in the Marvels as the bad guy.
The reason why Ronan was cool because he had Nebula working for him. I love me some Nebula, so I'm just saying.
You're not wrong.
That blue skin and stuff. That's where it's at. Yeah.
Bro, I'm Captain Marvel. I'm wasting the weekend.
Yeah.
We're gonna waste him twice.
Yeah. But I'm cool with neutral. I think that's fine for him. All right. So now we got the bad guy from Moon Knight.
Who?
Exactly.
Ethan Hawke.
Ethan Hawke.
Yo, Ethan Hawke was he was cool, but not memorable. Like it was fine, but ain't nobody talking about him.
We're calling him Ethan Hawke.
Yeah, exactly. What's up, dark room? How's it going?
And I'm not even saying that to be funny. I don't remember the character's name. I just remember Ethan Hawke.
Yeah, no, his name is Ethan Hawke.
Anybody in chat? Do you guys remember his name?
Harold, right?
Harold?
Yeah, Harold. Arthur Harold.
Arthur.
It's Harold. Because they kept just calling him Harold.
Harold.
H-O.
They said Harold.
No. H-A-R-R-O-W.
Yeah.
Harold.
Remember, he was pretty creepy.
Yeah.
He deserves to be in Who.
In Who? All right, so we're going neutral. I never watched. Eventually I will. Neutral. Not memorable than this. Nope, don't remember his name either.
Exactly.
So you guys agree that he was creepy, right? Like he kind of was.
He was pretty creepy.
Like, right off the bat, like the first scene is he steps into them. Though. But it's him being a good actor.
Because of being a great actor.
Put glass in the shoes. Like, I mean, you don't do that with your shoes. You put stuff to make it comfortable. He's like, I'm gonna walk on glass because I'm trying to get the attention of this God and everything. And I was like, hey, Ethan, man, we don't want to see your feet scarred up, man. Just stop.
Hey, you're getting me. I mean, he's moved out of Who for me. Okay.
So where are we putting him? I mean, the character
we don't remember him.
Creepy.
But the problem is we don't remember him.
I don't remember his name, but I remember him.
I remember what he did. Walking with glass in the shoes, he was feeding people, and then he was trying to
the judging the people kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody cares about him. Let's put it like that. So then you got to put him where
The problem is that you got to be in Who because no one cares. Like, all right, okay.
Really.
That's just what it is. Okay, now this next one, Gore the God Butcher, not the comic book, not what we should have gotten, what we actually got in the movie. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Terrible. We're supposed to be so frightened of this guy, this big bad God Butcher. We only see him kill one god in self-defense. I think that says it all. We don't see him kill any gods. He kills one dude who was choking him out. Who let's face it, deserved it.
Super self-defense.
And that was it. He kidnaps a couple kids, and he's gonna go and they could. I was hoping he'd.
They're all in one piece. They came back in one piece.
Yeah, I was.
They were
God.
Okay, let's be real about Gore. Like, man, as much as I love Christian Bale, like it was trash. It was just trash.
What a waste of Christian Bale. You had Christian Bale, Taika.
It was
Taika. It's the one character that made me be pissed off with Taika. Like, I don't want you to touch any more Thor. This one character pissed me off more than anyone because he's Gore the God Butcher, and you don't have him butchering gods all over the damn place.
Right, it's in his name. And
he's in black and white. The dude,
right.
Every scene should have been epic.
Yes. Yeah. And all of his stuff took place off screen. You're supposed to show and not tell. They messed up the whole time.
Yeah, Taika was more interested in screaming goats.
Right.
The worst thing is, like, we were in a coliseum with a bunch of gods. He
And
should
they
have
were
came
all-
in
they
there
were
and just
all
started
He should have
like,
stormed.
oh
Yeah,
he
he should have stormed it and just took everyone out.
laying everyone out. Yeah, but
Can you imagine if
um,
he killed 15 gods right there?
if
It would have been a better
Yeah.
movie, I'll tell you that. Like, imagine him showing up, he kills a couple of them, and they're like all fighting him at the same time. And then, of course, he gets overpowered and then he comes back because, there's so many of them. But before that happens, he takes out a bunch of them. You're like, holy shit, Thor is in trouble. But not once did I feel like that. Not once.
Yeah.
He could have
No
killed
matter-
a couple
Exactly.
of them and then told Thor to follow him. He leaves and follow him, and he's luring Thor out. That's what he
Right.
could have
Yeah.
done. And it would have worked out so well, but it just him as the character is great. It was awful in this movie.
Yeah.
even the
Yeah.
character was bad. I think he wasted the
Terrible
actor
adaptation.
and he wasted the character.
I agree.
You did both. Like,
But
what?
I'm saying in the comic books, I love Gore.
In the
but
comic
yeah.
books,
Yeah,
he's
he's cool.
awesome.
Yeah.
But that
Awesome.
makes
Yeah.
it much worse. That makes it even worse. The fact that you
Yeah.
did that to him.
Yeah.
You
Especially,
had Christian Bale.
right, and the only part of that movie that I liked was the opening, right, with him and his daughter and stuff. But then
Yeah.
after that, I just hated everything else because I was like, oh damn, they're getting real deep. Like Gore is gonna be insane, and then they just fucked it up. They just
Yeah, and I agree, Jason and Brandon. Like if Taika ran with that with the tone the first 10 minutes of that movie set with like some humor here and there, kind of like with Ragnarok, maybe a little more scarce than Ragnarok, the movie could have been amazing. It could have
Because
been
you have
awesome.
a scarier villain.
You have a scarier villain, yep.
Yes.
But
actual scary villain. Like,
But
he
yeah,
could have been way better than Hella if they would have did him right, but they didn't. So
yeah, the rest of it just felt like
Man's got beaten by kids. That's worse than being killed by super intelligent ants. By
Yeah.
kids.
like that's Kenny's standard right now. Killed by ants. Where's the rank? Above or below?
and then remember in the middle of the movie they scared him off. It was like, you had Valkyrie, you had female Thor, and they were just looking at him, and he was like, "Damn, I'm about to get washed up. I better run to the end of the movie."
yeah.
Run to the end of the movie.
Hey Taika, in the slim chance that you're watching this video, there were cheaper ways to make a Guns N' Roses music video.
Yeah.
Now with Taika doing it.
Not what yeah. And
Easier
then,
ways to do it.
Dark Room Reviews. Awesome.
And we got Dark Room Reviews with a super sticker. I know you can't really see it on here, but I think it's it's an arrow that says here. So I appreciate. I know it doesn't show up in StreamYard, so I'm sorry, but thank you for the super sticker, man.
Thanks.
Let's see. We'll play one I haven't played in a while.
Oh my God! Okay, it's happening. Everybody stay calm.
What's the
Everybody
procedure,
stay calm.
everyone? What's the procedure?
Stay calm.
Wait.
Everybody just calm down.
There you go. Appreciate the super sticker, man. Thank you so much.
Appreciate
yeah.
it.
Since we're talking about goats, I feel that's like perfect timing, right?
Oh yeah.
Thank you, Dark Room Reviews. Appreciate it so much for that super sticker, man. Thank you. And also go check out Dark Room Reviews. He's a little bit newer to the scene. Definitely to our like all community of all of us. So go check him out. Does really awesome reviews and stuff like that. So go check him out.
Oh yeah, guys, I gotta say that I'm having a lot of fun being here with you guys. Yeah.
Thanks.
Thanks,
It's great to
man.
have you.
I appreciate you coming in. Man.
I knew that you would, and I was like, "This is what we need to get you on." I really wanted to talk because we like these things. These are fun things to talk about. You know.
Yeah, and it was kind of your idea. You kind of sparked it when you said like she's the worst of the worst, and we're like, "Oh shit, we need to rank these things then." So it was really your idea. So we appreciate the idea because it is a fun thing to talk about. You know, we love these stuff, good or bad. You know, but we prefer more good. But
Yes,
unfortunately,
and also too, it makes it cooler when the company is awesome. You know what I mean? Like
Exactly.
So that's
No, that's the best part when you having a good time between everybody. It's so good.
yeah, and that includes you guys in chat too, man. Everyone in chat's hanging out with us and pitching in with their opinions and stuff. So thank you.
Absolutely. Shit, yeah.
All right. So now we got the Goblin. but not the. Well, I guess technically
No,
it
it
is
is.
the
It's
Tobey
part
Maguire
of the-
Goblin.
No, it is.
It's
'cause-
part
Yeah.
of the MCU, yes, and he is between Incredible and Great.
I'd say
I'm gonna put him in
Incredible.
Incredible.
Yeah, he's-
we got to.
Like,
I'm cool with that.
Yeah.
Because
Oh,
Sony's gonna be clinging the wine glasses together when I say this. But look, out of all the stuff they've done with all their villains, I feel like Green Goblin through and through was great. I like Doc Ock, but Doc Ock, he became good. But Green Goblin has always just been crazy as hell. Thanks.
Mhm.
to Willem
exactly.
Dafoe.
He is what a villain is.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's Joker level crazy.
Yes.
Mhm.
He is.
Yeah. Because Doc Ock again, like a computer chip malfunctioned and turned him evil. This is like he took
He
this serum,
killed Aunt
but it
May.
kind of yeah. Well, oh my god, and the Marissa
He killed
Tomei,
Aunt May.
Aunt
And
May.
Look,
And
this is
said,
how I
Marissa
know he's
Tomei.
evil. This is how I know Green Goblin's evil. Like, Aunt May was looking good. I never thought I'd see a good-looking Aunt May, but Green Goblin was like, I don't care, and he killed her. And no.
That was yeah.
Dude, come on,
just that
man.
kill alone was sick. Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
And
I'm
then
cool
he
with
stayed
Incredible.
around and tormented
Yes.
his son. Like, the dude is awesome.
Yeah.
That's a great
And
villain.
I'm not gonna lie. Like, I normally I just be chilling in the theater watching stuff, but between him, killing Aunt May, and then John Favreau's character Happy, the voice breaking when he told Peter to run, and how Tom Holland was acting, I was like, what the hell's going on with you, Terrance? You can't be crying and shit. What the hell's going on?
He's like, Tia, get back up there.
Right, yeah. Get your ass back up in there. There's just some allergies,
Exactly. Oh, man. They didn't get that sawdust out of here. This is crazy.
Who cut an onion?
Yeah. So,
Mhm.
yeah.
But yeah, cool. I'm up for it. I like that.
Side note, another reason I know the Goblin is just straight up evil. Just how satisfying that beatdown Peter laid on him at the end was. I'd have been like, keep hitting his ass.
Like, don't
But
stop.
how? Yeah, but how about not just that? But we saw Green Goblin wash up Peter earlier in the film, right? And I was like, damn, he might kill him. And then, like how you said at the end, and it's like the way he was punching him, and he just kept laughing and stuff. I was like, okay,
That was so Joker.
It was.
That
I was
was-
gonna say it's very Joker.
I visualized the paint on his face with the red lips. I was like, holy shit, this is insane right here. Damn.
Agreed.
Man didn't think it was funny, that final fight, though.
Yeah, that was crazy. I felt Peter's pain though, because I was like, yeah, in the comics, when certain things happen, he just be let loose. When Tobey Maguire Spider-Man got to stop you, that's how you know you wilding out, because even he did some crazy stuff in his movies.
Yeah.
Dude kept falling over and he kept picking his ass back up to hit him even harder.
Right.
Like, I ain't done with you yet.
He's like, hey man, hey, you don't want to kill him. There's kids watching and stuff. People look up to us. You can't be killing people. You put it down.
I don't care.
Like, I am a kid.
Right.
Beat him. Yeah. All right.
All right.
So this one we're going way back to phase one, like way back. The Abomination.
We talking
I
about
guess
Hulk Abomination,
Good.
not She-Hulk Abomination, right?
No, Incredible Hulk Abomination is good. That was
He's pretty good.
I love the Incredible Hulk. That was the first time where I was like, they finally
Yeah.
got the Hulk.
They stuck
got a good villain. They did that shit right.
Yeah, and that movie didn't waste its time on bullshit like the Ang Lee version did.
Right.
30 seconds into that movie, he becomes the Hulk, and it was awesome.
Right. Like you didn't have like a 2-hour and 30-minute movie, and Hulk was only in the movie for like 20 minutes when you add up all the scenes. Like, yeah.
Yeah, like who wanted an art house Hulk movie? No disrespect to Ang Lee, but yeah, he was the wrong man for the job. But
Better.
I hate how
as a villain, the actual villain.
yeah, him as a villain, Abomination is good.
Oh yeah.
Yep. He's at least good because he's better than half of those good people right there.
Yeah, and plus, like, it was a whole thing. Like, and I remember way before Incredible Hulk came out, I was telling my friends, I was like, the Hulk stuff we got is not good enough. Oh, what you mean, T? I'm like, there's too much missing. I'm like, first of all, Hulk is not supposed to be boring. You should be scared of him. And the design of the character, I'm like, they haven't got it right. But when I saw the Edward Norton Hulk and all the muscle striations and the way his teeth looked, I was like, you see him coming, you run. I don't care what you have. It is time to leave. But then when Abomination showed up, I was like, oh shit, okay, this about to be crazy.
It was an old shit moment. Yes, it was.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Oh man,
Even
that was awesome.
Before he like, you know, hulked out or evil hulked out, like he was just that dude, like that evil dude, you know, that military guy that liked doing kind of bad shit.
Right.
You know, like
he's
secret
ops.
Loose cannon.
Secret
he
op.
was just like, I enjoy this. Give me all this power. This dude literally was just throwing cars, killing people, and he's like, come out, Hulk. If you don't come out, I'm killing everybody until you come out. So, you know, you're a good guy, so your ass is gonna come out here. And then, you know, you see that Hulk literally damn near had to kill him. Remember, he wrapped that chain around his neck and the way he was pulling it. I was like, oh shit! Like I started moving up in my seat. Like, oh my god! Like it was crazy. It was crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, that was
Let's
awesome.
go to Evil Maya Rudolph.
Maya Rudolph.
Carly Morgan. No, we're not calling her. We're not calling her by her real name. We're not calling her Carly Morgenthau. We're going to stick with Evil Maya Rudolph.
Did you say?
I didn't
who?
like her.
Yeah, who?
Yeah, I'm almost inclined to say who.
Yeah, nobody's gonna know who that is. Like you like, hey man, we want to meet the actress who played Carly Morgenthau. They can be like, who? Who?
Yeah.
I'm almost inclined to say who. Yeah.
This was scary, but didn't feel like she was just rushed to become a full-fledged villain.
Yeah, she wasn't really a villain. Like,
I mean, you know, to me, it was like, okay, she's a terrorist. I get.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah, definitely a terrorist.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Sure.
like
Yeah.
even though
individuals think about this show, they're not going to think about her specifically. You know, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
And I always say that they had some of the worst villains.
Yeah, and were we supposed to feel bad when Sharon Carter shot her?
Yes,
because I didn't.
We were. I didn't. I didn't care. Me and my friends were clapping. We were tired of her.
Yeah, kind of.
I was like, yeah, I've been waiting for this. I did the Sean William Scott, like, yes, from Old School.
Right. Yeah, it's just like that. That's how she sounded to me. Like during the show, she was like, "You don't understand. I blew up that building not because I wanted to, because I had to.
I had to make a statement
in this world to make a statement." Like I was like, that's how she sounded to me. I was like, I don't. I really don't.
Yeah.
Plus, she killed Lamar. She killed Lamar. I liked Lamar.
Yeah.
All right. I don't want to waste another minute on her. No.
Yeah.
So now we are talking about it too long. Yeah.
Zemo's
exactly
for real.
Let's keep with the Zemo from the movies, because the Zemo in the TV show in Falcon Winter Soldier was kind of not really villainous.
But you know what though? Even Zemo in the movies, like, he was kind of weak in comparison to what he should have been. Like I couldn't give him too much props.
That's fair.
Yeah, I really don't like him in the comics though. Like, he's a dude that's mad that his dad's mask is like stuck on his face. Like, like he's not a great villain. He's kind of boring.
I could say good, because he accomplished his mission. He successfully disbanded the Avengers.
Yeah, he got and Iron Man to start fighting.
Didn't he?
Yeah, Zemo did it single-handedly.
He was kind of he killed T'Challa's father. He basically destroyed the Avengers from the inside. He was kind of the reason.
He destroyed the Avengers. He killed the Black Panther.
Right.
Like, the dude got some bars. Like
he does have some bars, but it's like, outside of what he did, he's so bland though. Like, just like when you see him talking and stuff, it's very bland.
Isn't that kind of cool? You speak softly and carry a big stick.
You know what? In his case, it was like.
Wow. Cut out. Yeah. Oh, we lost you, Terrance.
Can't wait till they got a scene with this dude. It was like, he's the one that did all this? Like,
yeah. But he's a little nerdy. He, checked out his father. He did all this stuff, but he ended the Avengers. You know, he killed
Mhm.
a Black Panther. Like it don't matter if he was old or whatever. He
Right.
destroyed a city block. He did some real cool villainous stuff.
He
Mhm.
did. I just wish he wasn't bland when we finally got to him. You know,
He
Yeah,
seemed like he was
really won. He did.
like all his emotions were removed. So he wanted to make. So he was just like I get the bland thing for sure, but it seemed like he was just like what's that condition where like you have like no emotions
Wait,
or no
wait.
empathy, sociopath or something like that.
He's a sociopath. Yeah, he's a
yeah.
sociopath.
That's what it kind of reminded me of. Is like I don't care, you know. Like he wanted to see the world burn because
That
his
doesn't
world
mean
was
that
already
you
gone.
lose.
You know? No, he cut out one more time. But where are you guys putting him? Where do you want to put him at?
I think
What do
he's
you think?
better than some of the good people we got.
Yeah,
So
I'm almost inclined to say great.
You know what?
What you got, T?
It keeps cutting out.
Is kind of pushing. But
So you think so good for you then?
that's fine. That's fine.
Okay.
So you said good. I think most of our chat saying great.
Well, I think the next one's great. So that's why.
So
Yeah.
You go okay with good. I like good. I think that's fine.
Wait, which one is that?
With Zemo, he's good.
Yeah,
We're good
that's
there.
fine. That's fine.
Okay. I'm cool with that.
Well, this
Now-
Kingpin, bro. Let's go.
Incredible. Just put him
Incredible.
up there.
Easily.
Just
I will not
So
settle
all
for
these
anything less.
individuals on this list, Kingpin got like I feel like he got the most swag. Like I'm just saying, like he's that dude. So
Dude, he was so
Now,
cool.
is-
In Enter the Spider-Verse, he was also cool. Like he's good in animated form, in real life form,
yep.
in Netflix
Killed
form.
Spider-Man in animated form, like he's that dude. Like in fact, in the Daredevil show, like to me that's still like the best Marvel TV show period, is Daredevil. But like
Yeah.
when it comes to the way that Vincent D'Onofrio played Kingpin, I was like, what is happening here? I had to go back to the comics. I was like, let me see if he was even that good in the comic books. Hold on a second.
Mhm.
he's a
Mr.
badass.
D'Onofrio, hang on a second. Like, so the fact that I had that reaction, I feel that alone, he has to be incredible.
Well, but see,
So-
the problem is he was in Winter Soldier, and I'm not Winter Soldier, in Hawkeye, and he was terrible at Hawkeye. Does that knock it down to great, or does he still deserve to be an incredible?
No, he still
Does-
deserves to be an incredible because Daredevil is still like when I think about all of the MCU, right? And one of my friends asked me this question. He was like, "So, would you be willing to get rid of Daredevil to keep the MCU?" And I was like, "No, I still want Daredevil. I will take Daredevil any day over the week over most of the MCU stuff. That's how much I like that show."
Mm-hmm. Oh, I agree. But is it canon? Is it canon to the MCU?
Well, certain aspects of it are, according to Kevin Feige, but only enough for him to utilize the character
Just
in the context of Universe 19999, right? So it's some, but not really, because that had
Even if
nothing
we're
to
just
do with Kevin Feige.
into the Spider-Verse, if it's just into the Spider-Verse, then it's still incredible. Like he
Yeah.
was.
But that's not MCU. That's not MCU. We're talking Kingpin from Hawkeye.
Okay, if we look
Kingpin
at
from
just,
Hawkeye.
right, Kingpin from Hawkeye, the
Mhm.
performance from Vincent D'Onofrio was still amazing. And also you have to factor in, right, the level of stuff that he was able to take. He got hit by a car, he got up, shit blew up in his face, and this dude is walking. So stuff that would have killed anybody else, he just brushes it off as like, oh, I got a tiny bruise. So I mean, he ain't no joke, even though he was in a jokey kind of show, but he still was that guy. And when we see him in Echo, which is the only reason that I'm gonna watch that show is because of him. I'm telling you, he's gonna be wilding out. We already saw a glimpse of that in the trailer. So I still, with that said about the MCU, we got to knock him down to slightly below incredible because I am thinking about Daredevil. But even still, that performance is carried over to a large degree.
I
Because
don't know if I
him
can.
and
I can't take out Daredevil. I just I can't.
Yeah, it's
you-
weird to do that, but it's just like you said. It's like, oh, if we're looking
Yeah.
at specifically the MCU, the performance is still
Those are
awesome.
part.
You
It's
still
not. It's not
felt
the MCU universe, but it's the extended universe because the Defenders is part of the MCU. It's still part of Marvel.
right.
It-
I
So,
mean,
like,
part of Marvel,
if
but
you
part of
look at it that way,
Marvel
then
Cinematic
sure.
Universe. It's still.
Right.
It's a cinema.
no,
It's still a movie.
no,
It's just
no.
on Netflix.
I,
I mean,
I get it. It's like technically yes and technically no, but but just the way that you put it, like if we're only using Hawkeye as a fucking metric, then I'm like, then I have to just look at how Vincent D'Onofrio is on screen, and the dude is menacing. He is a problem. I was like, Clint Barton is dead, Kate Bishop is dead. You know, everybody is dead. That's how I felt, and then he survived a lot of stuff. So, yeah.
Mm.
He also survived getting shot in the eye, apparently, too, because he's
Yeah.
so that.
So
All
that's
right.
why I don't think it's the same kind of Kingpin because he can survive getting hit by a car, but in Netflix, like he's getting his ass whooped by Daredevil.
Well, hold on a second.
oh, did you watch all that?
Hold on, if we
No, he
okay,
didn't
you
kick his ass
actually
at me,
go
but-
back to the Daredevil show. Number one, we saw him body the Punisher. Like nobody bodies the Punisher. We saw him body the Punisher.
Yeah.
We saw him throwing hands with Daredevil. Like before he lost, like Daredevil was struggling. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
I feel like Kingpin, even as he is in the comics, I've seen him handle Daredevil and Spider-Man at the same time. So sure, he's gonna lose, but it's like, look how long it takes to beat him.
Yeah.
And we saw that in Daredevil, even though the characters were much more grounded than anything that you will ever see in the MCU. But even still, he's still kind of, fantastical in his own way. But it's just in the context of the MCU, where it's not grounded, where you have all the different fantastical elements, you have to level up the Kingpin. Otherwise, he would get killed off too quickly.
I think he's great. Fine. I'll take him off of Incredible, but he'll be great.
I put him at neutral. Like he didn't do nothing in Hawkeye.
Really?
He didn't do
I-
nothing.
I'm not
he
only
didn't-
because I just disagree with you. Just that Netflix doesn't count. I think it does.
that's
I
why
just disagree.
I started with Daredevil. I was like, if you're going off of that, which is the most that we've seen him
It
in,
doesn't count because we're getting a whole new Elektra. It doesn't count because we're not getting Luke Cage. It doesn't count because we're not getting
right,
Iron Fist.
and Foggy and all the rest of them will most likely be recasted if they're there
Yeah.
at all. You're
They're
right
already saying
about
like
that.
those actors are not going to be there. So
But it's not. But they're also not saying it didn't happen. They're saying this is
Right.
later down the
Right,
line. So they're not.
Kevin
retconning
Feige,
it so that it
Kevin
did happen.
Feige is playing games. That's what.
yeah,
he's doing.
that's exactly what it is.
But
It
did
counts
not,
because
he's
it's
not,
good.
He's not
But it doesn't
retconning
count because we don't want any of the stories.
Yeah, but he's not retconning it. So I think it's still he was in there was amazing. He's still going to be in there, and it's the same character from there that's in Echo, that's in it's the same character exactly from there.
I think the best way to say it is that
Mm.
Kevin Feige is cherry picking
Oh,
elements that he
No,
likes.
that's definitely that's not.
yeah. Which I don't blame him. It's like take one of the best Marvel things that's come out since like out of
Because
everything.
that had nothing to do with him. That was the guy that he hated, Jeff Loeb, that was doing Marvel TV at the time. That's why
Mhm.
when Kevin Feige officially took over, you had the MCU logo, and it felt like the MCU. I'm like, you can't sit there and tell me that Jessica Jones, fucking Luke Cage and shit in a bed, and Killgrave and all that is in the same universe as Ronan the Accuser.
Mhm.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's why I was like, just him in Hawkeye, because he was only in a couple episodes. He was menacing, but I don't know if he didn't do anything
But it's the
besides
same
make some
character
threats.
it's hard for me to separate because I feel like he is the same character that you got from Kingpin. I mean,
Right.
from Daredevil.
And-
He's the same character, that was. You can say what you about Miles Morales, but Across Spider-Verse and all those things, but that's going to be in Marvel because they're going to use that same thing. So,
But it's not. It's not because otherwise, He Who Remains should be hired because he's going to play a bigger role. But we can't.
It's not.
We already said that earlier.
I'm saying that Sony
play.
and Marvel are in partnership. So like Netflix and Marvel were in partnership. So when it says Marvel Studios on it, I put it as part of Marvel.
Right.
If it says
I get
Marvel
you.
Studios,
It's like,
I'm going to
for
part it as a
example,
Marvel
right?
character.
It's like,
Yeah.
for example, like say if Kevin Feige brings back the actors who were the Runaways, right? Like that's one of my favorite
Mhm.
comic book shows. That shit is underrated. But let's say he brings them in and he does that same cherry picking stuff. I would tell humans, I'm like, they have a lot of experience because they've dealt with aliens. And when you talk about the stuff, the trauma, like they literally had parents that murdered a bunch of kids for a decade. Like, like that stuff is important to mention because if not, it's like they're starting from scratch. And I'm like, I don't know how much I like that because you just took away all that stuff. It's always weird when that kind of stuff happens when you use the same actors, but then they're just like, well, this is there, but then this part is not there. They never actually met this person or that person,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I just feel like when you see Marvel on it, then it's Marvel. It's it's somewhere in this extended universe of Marvel, and that's why I'm having the character.
Yeah, but then that's different universes, and that's like,
There's
oh,
all
that's
of them are different universes. We're in multiverse, so I mean, all of them are different universes.
Right. But that's why it's like it's just this.
I get how complicated it could be, but like to be fair, if it's just we got to use only Hawkeye, then I'm just gonna bring them down just a notch. We got to put them in whatever what's below Incredible, great. Yeah, so that's where I would put them.
I'm boycotting it. That's all, because I think Marvel. I think Netflix, because this is Marvel Studios, it's Marvel, part of Marvel. I think that it should be part of it. But I also do believe we only got 15 minutes left, so I think each of us could just choose two of these villains, and we will rank those two. Each person just choose two, and we rank them.
All right, we'll put them there. All right.
Here's the finals.
Yeah, we have the finals. So really, it's only this top row and most of the second row here. That's all we got left for the movies. Not these weird ones at the end. So I'll let
Terrance pick two.
Yeah, Terrance, yeah, because you're the guest, man. You
You're
go
the
first. So which two do you want to rank out of that are left here?
Okay, let's see.
Yeah, the Captain Marvel, Intelligence, Taskmaster, Echo.
I'll go with. Let's go with Kang the Conqueror.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And
Gang.
the Mandarin.
Oh, I like that.
Okay. And where are we putting them?
I'm gonna put Kang the Conqueror in. I'll put him in. Let's go with neutral with that.
Yeah.
Because I'm kind of going back and forth between good and neutral because I did want to see a little bit more from him, and I did like him because of Jonathan Majors. Like I feel like he's the best part of that movie, but we'll put him in neutral. And then as far as the Mandarin, I'm gonna put him in good because I did like how they combined the Mandarin and Fu Manchu, and I get like racist history with that. But when you combine those two characters together, that is what you get when you fuse them together. And
I have to disagree with you.
Oh, you think it? You think it?
I think he's great.
Oh, yeah.
I think he's great.
Oh, okay, yeah. No, no. I thought you were talking about the fusion.
No. I thought that it was a great fusion. I thought the way they did it. I think the movie was great. He was a great villain in the movie. I think he was great.
No, like it to me, good, great. It's fine. Like when you get like in that sort of category, they're almost interchangeable. Minus a few details, like when you really break it down. But I did like how they handled the Mandarin. He was badass, the martial arts elements, and I was like, where was this dude in Iron Man 3? Maybe we wouldn't have saw Iron Man after Iron Man 3 if they'd used him and the relationship that he had with his son. I like how he was like, watch how you speak to me, boy. I will backhand you out of this universe. You know who I am? You know how many people I bodied? He's like, you gonna respect me. You gonna respect your mother. And when I tell you to do 1,000 push-ups, that's what it's gonna be.
I don't want to see 999. It better be 1,000.
It better be 1,000, and you better do another 1,000 because I said so. Like he had that. He was like cool. He was menacing when he needed to be, and when you saw him cry when he was in pain, you felt that because it was out of the ordinary from you. Like, man, this dude, you felt like everybody was gonna die when he was in pain and when he thought he was hearing his wife's voice. I'm like, he is going to wreck everyone because he believes that she is still alive. I'm like, what would you do if your girl, if you thought she was alive, right? And others were like, no, you can't do that.
Burn the
Lock
world.
this up, right? Burn the world. So it worked, and I'm such a big fan of the martial arts film genre, and I've seen countless martial arts movies. So I was very big on you got to do Shang-Chi right because Iron Fist was a pile of shit, and they did it. So
Yeah.
there you go.
Man,
Yeah.
agreed.
So yeah, I'm moving up to great. I know some of these guys are incredible too.
I don't think he's epic enough to be incredible.
Yeah.
I think his story was good, the movie was good, his motivation was good, everything was like not good, was great.
Yeah.
All that was great, but
Was
he
great.
wasn't epic. Like, and I think the Incredible is being left for just epic. Like Thanos is epic. I don't know if he's Thanos level.
I would say that he was epic, but just slightly,
Below
on a
those.
smaller level. You know what I mean? Because
I feel like he's better than even in Winter Soldier. He's better than even Hela. Like I like him. He's the top of great, but he's still just great. I don't think he's incredible yet.
Yeah.
yeah, no, to me, like I said, like certain things are interchangeable, but I very much enjoyed him as a villain, and when I saw Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings, that's when I thought, Phase 4 was going to be good.
Yeah. I had a couple good ones here and there, and that was one of them. Okay.
All right,
I like
Brandman.
it. Yep. What you got, Brandman? Pick two and put it.
I will pick Taskmaster and Namor. Taskmaster, you don't even have to ask me twice who.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
And I don't even think I really need to elaborate on that. Do you guys remember anything about her?
Yes, I remember that
It was trash.
she was
yeah.
there, and then the movie ended. Yeah,
Yeah, that's about it, right?
She wore.
But you better put some respect on Namor. So I want to hear, because I was gonna pick Namor. So you better put some respect on some Namor.
Namor was the only thing about Wakanda Forever that I liked.
Yes.
I think that he had me wanting more. It kind of trails back to what we said about Killmonger, where it's a villain that you kind of understand his motives, why he's doing what he's doing. You could even kind of back him up on certain things. I loved the kind of even with his minions, kind of like the creepy kind of I don't remember because I only watched the movie once, but like the singing or the whistling or whatever it was they did, and feeling legitimately unnerved. I thought Namor was just he was no joke. He was a real force to be reckoned with.
They're sirens, what you hear from from
sirens.
Yeah,
the siren call.
And I'm looking forward to seeing more. I thought he was everything like an anti-hero should be. I don't even feel comfortable calling him a full-on villain.
No, he's
he did some villainous shit, man.
He did do some villainous stuff, but he also did some understandable stuff where you kind of back him. So he kind of walked that line for me.
Kill Queen Ramonda and not be called a villain. Queen Ramonda, dude, you're a villain, bro.
Okay, if I may, I feel conflicted because when I graded Wakanda Forever, usually when it comes to comic book stuff, because I know so much about these universes and characters. So when I do know, I always let humans know, okay, I'm coming at this from a fan perspective, and I give it 2 grades. It's like the adaptation grade and then how it works as a movie in its respective universe, right? So I did give the movie a 9 out of 10, but I did have some issues, and I'm not the biggest fan of what they did with Namor. All the retconning and changing, I didn't like that, but how he works in the movie, I thought it was fine. So,
I don't think he's on Killmonger level, but I think he's definitely, because I don't think he just could destroy Wakanda like he did. Like he lost, he still lost. Like Killmonger was the king of Wakanda for a
Yeah,
period
he
of time.
successfully
He
took
was
the throne.
I literally would, but I
beat
laughed at
Nightmare.
Namor though. That's the thing. I never laughed at Eric Killmonger like when he was like water. That had me laughing.
That
in the
was-
theater. I was like, bro.
that's why
that was
he's
the worst
great.
part of him.
He's not
Yeah.
good. I mean, not incredible. He's great. I feel like.
Yeah. Well, where were you gonna place him, Brandon?
I was going to put him as good.
You're gonna put him as good.
Okay.
Mhm.
I think he's better than all those good people.
Yeah. I'll probably put him as great too.
Ooh, better than all the good. I
Yeah,
can't give him
like
that. I
him.
can't give him that much props, but
I like him. But it's funny because I didn't like Wakanda Forever. I don't like it. It's not even my thing.
The only
We all know
the
why.
only reason the only reason I watched Wakanda Forever was for this channel. Otherwise, I would have skipped it. Yeah, it's like the one MCU movie I could comfortably say I will never watch again. But
Yeah.
but he was like the one thing about it that I could legitimately say that I liked.
Yeah, and I understood him. Yeah,
I want to see it more in other stuff, But I would say like he's not incredible, but I think he's better than pretty much all these other guys in the good
That's what I said,
because he's a badass. He goes, hey, do this, or I'm gonna kill you. And they wanted to
He's a
question him,
villain.
and he's like, cool, you're dead.
And he's not going to be. He's going to be a villain because you understand what his motivation is. It's all about his place, his stuff. He has nothing to do with about everyone else. He don't care when he fucks up the entire world. He does not care. He will do it, and he's going to use it to manipulate it, and it will be part of Dr. Doom, and Namor will be cold. He will be cold.
And here's the thing too, like like I said, I didn't like all the changes and this Talokan and all this stuff, right? I was like, but when he started moving, like with the action scenes, to be honest, that's probably what I liked about him the most, because I had to get beside myself. I'm like, because I don't like when they change the characters like that. It irritates me. I'm like, why are you doing that? It's already cool as it is. And if you would have just did it the way it was, the movie still would have been the same. You don't need to do that. But then I was just like, okay, fine. Let's see how it works. And I was like, okay, the way he's moving through the air, that's pretty cool. It looks cool visually. I saw it in IMAX and everything. So, I gave it his flowers despite me having issues. So.
Yeah.
I just think that they had to because of what was going on with Aquaman.
Well, I mean,
that's ultimately why.
Here's the thing, right? Like, not calling it Atlantis and calling it Talokan, I'm like, okay, I still think that was a bad decision. And then the race swap.
They literally couldn't call it Atlantis.
I still don't like that, and I get their position, but I'm like, I still don't like that. And then like the race bending thing, I didn't like that either. So because that's another thing that was unnecessary to me. So if I weren't a fair person, just off of that alone, I wouldn't have watched the movie. Like, if I'm going to be honest, on top of T'Challa not being in the movie. So offhand, going into it, there was a bunch of shit that I just didn't like. But I'm like, let me see what happens when I watch it.
Yeah. I also don't like that they changed it, but with what they did with him, with the change, with this new version of Namor, I was cool with it. I liked it a lot. I would have preferred the original Namor, but
the original was better.
The original Namor would have been awesome. But
I think
with what we got, I'm
call him
cool
Namor. Call him something different. He's not Namor.
Yeah, he's not.
Yeah,
Namor.
that was another thing. The way that they said
Namor.
it, not more. I'm like, not more.
Yeah.
What?
No love. No love.
You know what? That kind of made me chuckle. I'm like, okay, they playing games. Like, all right, let's see what y'all.
I mean, it was a cool play on words.
He wants to put him in good. I'm not gonna argue with you.
I'm in great.
I'm in great too, but I'm not.
I think most of the chat is in great too. Brandon says great. Kenny says great. Jason says great.
I would say more good than great, but I'm outvoted, so
No, I think Brandon said
I'm gonna stand my ground. I'm gonna stand my ground. I'm gonna say good.
And the thing is, of the greats, he will be the bottom level of my greats. Of those greats, he'll be my bottom level of great. But of the goods, I think he's one of my top level of good. So I'm okay with if you put him in good, it's fine. and it's not my choice. So yeah.
Now, do you guys
Yeah,
find
pretty
that?
much.
Do you guys find that weird that I have like two grades for comic book stuff, like adaptation and then how the movie works, or do you feel like
Nope.
that's understandable?
No, that's super like reasonable.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, I
it's
didn't
a
even
comic
stop to
book
think about
movie.
that.
You have to like reference it to the comic book, you know, and then you could definitely that's actually the best way to grade a comic book movie, you know, is reference and its own thing, you know, because it could be both. Like it sucked as like Mysterio sucked as a comic book like reference, you know, like but he was cool as his own original kind of thing. Same with like Namor, you know, sucked as a comic book reference. It really was bad, but as its own thing.
But if you look at Mysterio in a comic book reference, even like when he tricked Wolverine to thinking that he saw all his enemies and he killed
Yeah.
the X-Men, I'm like, those illusions were perfect. I'm like, that's what he does.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Yeah, or even Vulture, because I'm looking at like just people like here, Vulture. Like I said earlier, Thanos was just a fucking incel that wanted, you know, some sex, and you know, and they turned him into a completely different character with actual
I'm glad, and
meaning.
trust me, it was one of those things because I had some humans like they try to get all cute and call me out. They're like, oh, so you're all about things being accurate, but you were okay with them not doing Mr. Death. And I was like, look, I didn't like that segment. Now, if I were in charge, I would have did it just because. But I'm glad that they didn't do it because I personally didn't like that shit. That he was a chump, he was a simp, and that the only reason he was doing that was because of Mr. Death. I didn't like that sort of motivation for his character. In the MCU, to me, it was better just the whole, hey, y'all trash. I'm trying to create some balance. Hashtag Thanos was right. There you go.
That's like
Yeah.
that sounds like me.
Yeah.
Hashtag.
But
Thanos was
that's the best way to, I think, review some of these comic book movies. So, because then you get people talking about the actual comic book too, which is always good. All right, I'll let you go, Brian. What two you going with?
I have no idea anymore because I don't care. Give me I'll give me Darby. I'll take Darbin and put it in terrible. I know who she is. She's terrible.
Do you? I don't know.
She's awful. That's what she is. She's the worst villain I've ever seen in my life.
Dar-
I know who she is,
Like,
but it's not who I know who she is because all those ones are who I'm like, who the hell are you? But I know who she is. She's the worst villain I've ever seen. I didn't care at all. Like it should be a
bad.
different level of worseness. Like it should be under who. Like I care less about your life than anyone else in all of the MCU.
Right. It's bad. It's just terrible. And if they would have did
I was thinking
Darbin properly, it would have been a better villain. Like I'm just being real. They
Oh yeah.
Like
I'm
there's
not even
they-
saying
I
like
think I could
Darbin
add
is like
another one.
this great character in the comics. I'm not saying that, but it's better than that shit. That's all I could say. Better
No,
than
yeah, that was trash.
it was the worst.
Wait, so you want to keep it at terrible? Or you want to put it like who?
I know who she is. I just don't care anything
Right.
about her. Everything about her is awful.
Is there a category called the abyss? Like let's put her in the abyss, like, off the
I
list.
know I
black
can't add
hole.
I can't add another.
We can add the black hole of
I know.
choosing someone. That's we should put her in the black hole and never speak her name again. She
Right.
could be.
Yeah, I can't
She should who should not be named. That's what she from now on will be. And yeah,
She was down there. Yeah, she was bad.
she's awful. Like I want her in a different level. Like I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay,
High
that's
evolutionary, incredible.
so no. I'm actually am doing the high evolutionary, and I'm putting him in great.
Yep.
Yeah.
No.
I'm fine
What?
with that.
What I said, high
She's-
evolutionary.
Oh, high evolutionary. I was thinking the supreme intelligence.
Oh my god.
My
no.
bad.
No.
Yeah, I'm like, wait, what? I forgot.
High evolutionary.
Yeah,
so
I
Guardians
agree.
of 3 was so awesome. He was a real villain. Oh man, when he did broke my heart, and I'm glad his face mask fell off.
No, why was his dialogue like that? It was like I'm like I don't think when I saw him in the theater, I kept looking at my friends. They kept looking at me because I was like, we've seen a lot of villains in this universe, but I feel like just with his dialogue alone, he might be the craziest, most evilest one because he literally got down on his knees and he was like, "Did you think that you were gonna go to the world? I mean, you're trash.
Look
You
at
don't
you.
belong out there. Look at you. Like, it was just the way he was talking to Rocket, and even Rocket didn't know. He was like, "Hey, y'all, is this in the script? Like, this kind of fucked up, y'all." Like, so he just, everything he said, and then he started doing stuff. But I was like, his dialogue, it was like, damn, this is a fucking villain. It's like one of those intelligent. He has just this ego, and he's just so much above everyone else. I'm like, I want them to stump a galaxy hole in his ass. I was like, they
Exactly.
gotta
But
fuck him up.
everyone in the theater said,
Every-
I want him to die in some way, shape, or form. Like
Right.
we all
And then
rise
Rocket
up
had
and
to kill
say
him.
he has to go.
Right.
Yeah, he's like the only MCU villain next to Green Goblin that I was spending the whole movie muttering under my breath, "Fuck you, dude."
Yeah, and I low key liked him too, and then the way he was just screaming at Rocket, like, "How the fuck did you figure this shit out? I created you." I was like, "Oh my god!" I was like, "What? Oh!" I was like, "This is different. I ain't never felt this way about any of their villains like that. Like, that's crazy."
But he only had one movie, so I can't put him in. Well, I guess you
Killmonger
could.
only had one movie.
Killmonger was in both
Yeah.
Wakanda too.
We're not counting that, man.
But yeah,
He was still in
I
that.
don't know if
He
did that.
But he
was
wasn't the
not.
villain. We're talking about when he was a villain. Like
Right.
I'm saying
It's the same
even
thing
if
with
he
the
wasn't a villain, High Evolutionary wasn't in any of that other stuff. He just wasn't there.
But I mean, but most of the MCU villains, they just had one appearance for the most part.
But
Then they got
none of
killed.
those top level ones are. If you're incredible, you were at least in two movies.
True. But I mean, should we really disqualify him though, just because he was in one movie?
I
The movie was so amazing though.
We put him in great still. I mean, he's still there.
I put him incredible because like everything you guys just said was
Thanos,
incredible.
But I mean, the dialogue though, like, okay,
He
when
was
Thanos
menacing
talking,
more than anything, though. He was
He was
the worst.
evil.
He was the
Yeah,
worst.
He killed a planet. He's like, I'm done playing with you guys.
Once
You're done.
again,
And that's probably not the first time he's done it.
Who else killed the planet?
I mean,
A lot of these guys ain't good. Like,
a lot of
okay, but here's the thing though. It was the way he did it though. He was like, man,
He
okay,
who
y'all
remains killed billions, trillions.
He did, but I mean, he didn't grab Rocket Raccoon by the head and stuff and kill
Kane did.
animals.
Kane
Oh,
grabbed
come
everybody.
come on.
I mean, you guys, I'm just saying it. He Ego blew up multiple. He killed everyone.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think Ego should be higher, but
like Ego killed everyone. Like that's
yeah.
If you put High Evolutionary incredible, he's a great villain. So I can't sit there and argue. Yeah, I think High Evolution. I mean, the Ego should be higher. That's all I keep on saying. That's what I keep on coming down to.
That one, I agree with that. All right, which real quick, we need some respect for Icarus. Wait, where?
What? No, hell no. The rip off.
Sorry, Jason.
I don't want to hear that. No.
That is not. That's not happening on this.
That's the movie that shall not be named.
Yeah, no. I can't go through that again. Are you trying to have me go through a deep depression where I need to see a therapist? That's what you're trying to do to me. Don't do it.
Yeah. I don't think. All right. So I don't know who to. I mean, I know who, but y'all left me with just trash.
That's hilarious.
But that's all good.
Look how many
So I'm gonna go
phases
one right
there
off the
are.
bat. Is MODOK is
Awful.
just awful.
Oh,
You know, it's just like bottom of the barrel right there with the Darman, whatever the fuck her name was.
I'm
it was just
never
like
gonna forget that. It's terrible.
like they had an opportunity. It's not even the way he looked, because I was cool with him looking stupid because it's a stupid looking character. Like, but it's what they did with him that was very, like, just they didn't do anything with it. Like, this dude needs to be an evil genius doing evil genius shit, and he was just a dude. Like,
no Argus connection.
No
nothing.
arc, no nothing. You know, and then especially him being David Cross, who up here we have higher. It's like, how are you already not at that level? You know what I mean? Like, you decreased as a character. Like, I cared less about you. You know, instead of making you even better. You know,
Right. I was
like
like,
so.
why is he working for Kane? He's usually solos. Like that shit was weird. And then
Yeah.
the whole like, how do I not be a dick? I'm like, all
Oh,
right, this shit's
that,
crazy.
That was
that was
awful.
Man,
That was
that
so
was
awful.
bad. That was bad. You know,
Oh.
so that for me, that was he looked cool. I liked it. A lot of people were making fun of it, but I'm like, he kind of looks how he does in the comic book, like stupid. So I didn't
But
care about
they
that.
didn't make him look. They didn't make him look as sinister as he looks in the comics. Like if
Yeah,
they
there's
would have
times
made
he
him
looks.
look like that, he would have looked scary as fuck. Like there, he just you laugh at him when you see him. That's
Yeah. You know, with the mask on, like here in this picture, he has like the whole little mask on and thing on. That looked cool. You know,
yeah, that
it
looked
was,
better
but
when it actually came up. Yeah.
but I would have forgiven anything if they would have made him cool, like made a silly looking character actually cool. Like I'm like, oh, that would have been awesome.
It's all in the writing, the
Yep.
execution, and everything surrounding the character. You know what I mean? Like they all have to complement each other. That's how you make a good movie. So.
We got a Rick and Morty writer doing Rick and Morty kind of jokes in the MCU. So, and that's what he was. You know, it reminded me of very much of Rick and Morty kind of shit. You know,
and that's what I told my friends. I was like, look, I have nothing against Rick and Morty. I don't like that shit, but I have nothing against it. But don't bring that shit over here. There's a certain type of things that you do and don't do. And I kind of was wary about that. I thought it'd be kind of a bad deal. And look what happened. So
yeah. Real quick. And then he goes, I'll go movie time minute and Zack attacks. Yeah. Those guys love the Eternals.
That's not happening here.
Sorry, Jason. Didn't happen. No, they put some respect on Rick and Morty. I love Rick and Morty.
I have nothing against that. I just don't like it. I'm not saying it's bad. It's just not.
But that storytelling, the way they tell that story, doesn't fit in this kind of universe. That's the only problem. Yeah, that's the only problem.
I lend itself to everything.
Yeah, my other one, I'm torn between Claw and Scarlet Witch. I think I'm gonna go with Scarlet Witch.
Because everyone's gonna say Claw, but I say Claw was only in the movie, and though he was good in those two movies, he was in two, by the way.
Yeah.
Though he was good, I don't know if he was good enough to be great.
Really, yeah. You know, like that's why you never saw his true menacing, like evilness that he should have been.
He's that much better.
Neutral, no?
Yeah, neutral, exactly. Because
I can put him in neutral, but that's not my pick. I was gonna go with. Yeah. I'm cool with neutral because he's way better in the comic. But that's what happens when you kill off a character way too early. You know, so
when you use just the service and nothing more.
Yep. A great setup though. Like they set him up really great in Age of Ultron, and then they were doing. Oh no, it was and then Black Panther. You know, like he had potential, and then they killed him. Like,
but he got killed by a better character. So
which is fine because you know that's what you want to do. You want to make your bad guy like, oh, he's the bad guy. He's really bad, and then he gets killed by the bigger bad guy. You're like, oh shit.
You thought he was the guy. No, this is the guy. Yeah.
Yeah, which one? But I'm gonna go with Scarlet Witch in Multiverse of Madness because I feel like she's definitely different layered. And my issue is I don't know where to put her. I want to because
this is what I want to know because it's like you choosing her because choosing her, she's a great character. Where the hell do you put her?
I tell you where you put her is easy. You put her in neutral, right? Now here's the thing: when you look at what's happening there, because what I tell humans is that I enjoyed the movie, but the movie makes no sense. Like she was able to do what she was able to do because all the characters were acting out of pocket. They somehow didn't have their abilities and powers, and she was doing what she was doing because she wanted some kids that were never really her kids, that were imaginary. So you could say that she's mentally unstable, you know. But then she did murder.
Then she killed everybody. She killed Professor X. She killed Mr. Fantastic. She killed. She just killed these characters.
Worlds.
She just killed a bunch of individuals. Oh, and she kidnapped the mother from her children and tried to steal those children. So sure, she did a lot of horrible things, but it always goes back to like, but she was, you know, she's a member of the Avengers and stuff. And I was like, let me tell you something. There ain't a single Avengers comic where those characters would have allowed her to live after all the shit she did. They would have came to a decision to wipe her ass out. She did way too much. Kidnapping, murder of hero. No. She'd have been
But this is
She would've
and this
been
is
put down.
only, but this is only in this movie. Like in the movie, I feel like she was a very good, almost great villain.
Yeah.
In
I mean,
the
it's
movie,
scary at a certain
the
part when they're going
movie-
down the hall and
Mhm.
she's chasing them. That's old. That's like
with the blood on her
like the-
face and
what's his name?
everything, and
Who's the director?
she's
Sam Raimi.
Sam Raimi.
Sam
You know-
Raimi.
you
That's
know
a Sam
what's funny?
Raimi like cut.
A lot of humans skip over the fact, like, okay, like when Doctor Strange, right? We saw that there was another one where, you know, he literally destroyed his own universe, and I'm like, do you know what's gonna happen if Stephen Strange thinks about the Darkhold? He's gonna body Wanda, and then that's what we get towards the end of the movie. I'm like, why didn't he do that the whole time? And then we saw America Chavez literally almost punch her into lava, and America Chavez in that movie was nerfed compared to what
Yeah.
she's supposed to be.
Sure was.
It's weird. They only used her as a plot device because she can traverse the multiverse, but Stephen Strange can do the same thing with a series of spells, which he somehow forgot, even though he's the Sorcerer Supreme. You know, I know they gave it to Wong, but Wong ain't as good as Stephen Strange. He's just cool. But
Yeah, Wong is just a placeholder. We know that.
Yeah. I got to put it better, more than neutral. I was gonna say like somewhere between great and good. And I'm not quite sure. Because
I'd rather
like
put her in good. Like if I have to compromise,
All right, well, I'll let you put her in good, but you move Ego to great.
I was like,
Okay,
wait, she took over
I
the
see what
town.
you did there. I see what you did there. I probably walked into that one. Like,
I only been waiting for an hour. Just wait.
Just waiting for
okay,
the
you know
bargain.
what? That I'm cool with that. We can do that.
Like we can put her in good, but Ego got to go up, man. That dude's.
Even though there's a spot in my heart where I'm it's hurting me.
Yeah, like so Brand said she's incredible. Yeah, she was nerfed because it was her introduction, I believe. Yeah, they do stupid stuff like that.
And you know, we all know that they
great.
Sam Raimi and them, we know they Googled the House of M storyline and kind of ran with that. I'm like, I know what they were doing.
They're also going. She's gonna get her own movie. I really believe she's gonna get her own movie because she has enough storylines. I mean, she marries Dr. Doom, but without knowing who Dr. Doom is, there's so many storylines with Wanda Maximoff that you can use. And then
in the MCU, in the MCU, they said she's dead. This version of Wanda is dead.
Good.
But it's bad because we have
I don't want to see her again because every time she shows up, the characters are stupid. They don't know how to do nothing. Reed Richards is no longer the smartest man in that universe. I refuse to believe that was Reed Richards. He did the dumbest thing. The Illuminati would never be that dumb. Like, how can somebody find a secret location that nobody's supposed to know about? And you're like, hey, we just gonna go out and talk to her. It'll be fine. I'm like, no, you should be trying to record. Isn't that impressive that she found this place that nobody knows about? And you just not gonna take this seriously? So no, I don't want to see that. Bring Wanda back. Do that.
No, they're going to use the Wanda.
But even Wanda was.
They're going to use the Wanda from the universe, from the 838 universe, whatever. They're going to use her.
Right, but humans forget that in the context of humans forget that outside the House of M, which was circumstantial, that most of the time in the comic books, Wanda was not even as powerful as Vision. They leveled her up tremendously.
The MCU has definitely leveled her up.
In the comic books, the newer comic books, they made her super powerful.
Well,
after
because here's the problem with the newer comic books, they copy the movies and stuff. So I'm talking about just how the character is most of the time.
No, I would say ever since House of M, that's when like she became like this fucking god. I was like, when this happened?
Never.
The MCU has drastically just gave her all kinds of credit. Whenever you can go into the astral plane and beat Charles without him putting up a fight, even though I've seen him beat Amal Farouk, the Shadow King, in the Shadow Realm, like that makes no sense. That's where
all they're going to say is that he wasn't there. That wasn't his version. That was a bad version of him, not the greatest version of him. And that's how I
took it all. Those are all stupid versions of.
That's the part that hurts my soul when they say that. I'm like, they brought in Charles. They gave him the comic accurate chair. They even played just to disrespect him.
All right, so move Ego up, and then you can put her.
Yeah, but I want to put her at great though. Like part of me is like, she mind controlled all the Avengers. So she started off as a villain and only became good because she loved Vision. As soon as she lost Vision, she went back to being evil.
Wait. When she became
And
good because of what now?
Because she had the she was like in love with Vision. That's the
Yeah,
only
so,
time she was
talking,
a good guy.
Like before, you talking about before WandaVision, or you talking about
Yeah.
like in that?
It's since the
before.
beginning of the MCU with her. Like she came in Age of
Evil.
Ultron, she was a bad guy. You know,
and
like
she chose to be
Okay,
good.
well, here's
to
the thing
Hawkeye.
though. Like even in the context of Age of Ultron, we have to remember the individuals that were raising and manipulating her. Because as soon as somebody came in and presented her with another option, which was my boy Hawkeye, who nobody was giving credit to until when Endgame came along, she was like, "Oh my God, nobody's ever talked to me like that." That's all that it took. So I'm like, she was never really bad. She just was led astray and stuff. She had the wrong company. You are who you're around. So yeah, I think that's a little bit more complicated.
No, I agree, but also I think it's like her brother. She saw her brother doing good shit, and she's gonna stick around with her brother, you know. And then all she did was replace her brother with,
Killed him. That's stupid.
you know, that's so stupid, you know. But all she did was replace the love for her brother with the love of Vision, and then they killed Vision, you know. And then she went back to being not a good person, very selfish.
This is how
Selfish.
I will
She was
compromise with seeing Wanda again. If they give Wanda her own movie, I want it to be called Accountability. I want all those characters to hold her accountable for all the mass murder and kidnapping she's done.
But it's going to be a different character, and that's what it's going to be. She's
Yeah,
going to be.
I still want the heroes to think she's the same one. Like, you gonna pay for the sins of your other alternate self. I gotta see.
If they try to do that, she's now powerful enough in the MCU and Marvel that she could probably kill all of them. Yeah. They've made her so powerful. I mean, she would have beat Thanos.
She's the only one. Yeah, she's the only one that was able to beat Thanos.
Yeah, by herself.
That's not true. No, that's not true, because all she did was lift him up in the air and she got stopped by a missile. The ones that had the longest exchange against Thanos was Thor.
Thor can beat Thanos because they're on the same level, honestly. Thor and Thanos. Regular Thor and Thanos should be in the same level.
But here's the thing, though. When Thanos had the gauntlet in the comics, he wrecked all those characters. They all got wrecked, including the Celestials. Like it was Adam Warlock that stopped everything and brought it back to where it was. Right, he went to the future to check on Thanos. He saw he was on his farm and stuff. It was cool how the MCU kind of switched that around and Adam Warlock wasn't there and how they used that. But that's what it was, though. None of them were able to stop him. I'm like, if he assembles the gauntlet, they're done. So how are they going to do this? But it doesn't change the fact that Thor literally, went through a blast from the assembled gauntlet and hit him in the chest. And then Doctor Strange literally had a magical exchange that was going on. So
has more. Thor survived like a star. The power of a star.
No, Thor,
right, but that's true. But
actual
the Infinity
Thor,
Gauntlet is different. Like most of those characters that we saw in Infinity War and Endgame, they weren't even present in that storyline. Most of those characters were gone. They weren't even relevant in that storyline. And the ones that were only just the ones that Doctor Strange put in that mystical bubble, because most of them couldn't breathe in space. And that was to elevate them to fight against Thanos on that platform that he made for Mistress Death. So I was
yeah, but see, that's comic book, and it's for MCU. It got to be a little bit different. And I feel like
true.
Yeah,
Powerful.
because they nerf Doctor Strange a bunch in this one.
Exactly.
And then they buff Wanda.
Right. Even though they nerfed him, he still had that long exchange against Thanos to where it was like, oh, he might be able to stop him. Before Thor and Doctor Strange went up against Thanos, I was like, none of these characters are going to be able to do nothing. Like, even when Wanda had him, I'm like, that's not going to kill him. He got surprised because he wasn't used to that, but she wouldn't be able to physically kill him. That's why he used the missiles to stop her, because he has a more
rain of fire.
Mind. You know what I mean?
Fire. I would say Thor definitely, because like you said, he fought him with a blast from the Infinity Gauntlet.
Yeah.
But Thor, but then he became Fat Thor, and that was kind of like,
oh yeah,
funny and not really.
They've done that with Thor, and they've kind of made him comedic, but
yeah. But
I definitely like Wanda, like I do, but I just don't like when you elevate one character and you trash the rest. Like, she's only able to do what she's able to do because none of the other characters are doing what they're supposed to do. To me, that actually takes away from making the characters great as she could have been if all the characters would have been what they should have been.
I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. Like, that was the one thing I always hated was like they bring in this Illuminati just to kill them, but
Right.
like they're not
it was
your
just
real
like an
Illuminati,
Easter
though.
egg. Right. It was just,
Yeah.
but here's the thing though. I had someone tell me that. They're like, well, they were variants. I'm like, okay, if we entertain that, then explain to me how all the variants of Doctor Strange were like the same level of power, including one that destroyed his own universe. So if we're going to play that game, the Illuminati should have still been Beast, even still, and they weren't.
It probably would have been Beast if he was still there. If Doctor Strange from that universe was still there, and then
the other characters were dumb, like Reed Richards.
Yeah, they shouldn't have turned on them.
Black Bolt was totally
stupid.
disrespectful. Like, and even Captain Carter was not even as good as what she was in What If. I'm like, what happened?
Yeah, but you gotta say Wanda killed them real easy.
Yeah, she did.
Yeah, like too easy.
I refer to them.
I still say Ego is great, but whatever. we can wrap up this whole thing.
Yeah, yeah. But we'll do that. We'll do that. This because we agreed on.
That's all it took. That's all it took. One time. But Wanda is so super powerful now in the MCU that she should be on God level. It should be a God level tier.
Yeah,
because it's where she is.
Yeah.
And
So
she's a mutant. I don't care what anyone says. She's a mutant.
She is. They confirmed it in WandaVision. So.
Wait, what did they confirm?
That she was born with the gifts.
She was born with the gifts.
Yeah. They couldn't do the mutant stuff at the time, and technically, depending on the comics, they were never mutants anyway. They always go back and forth on that shit anyway.
Yeah, but they're gonna bring her back, and I would like that they make them actually related to Magneto, because that would be way.
They're gonna do that too.
Yeah,
they're gonna do that.
You already killed off both of the Maximoff twins, so bring them back.
Like, see, I'm okay with them either making them related to Magneto or not, because they've already gotten rid of that type of story anyway in the comics. Right? So Eric's real daughter is Polaris, who we saw in the Gifted TV show, which I enjoyed.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that. All right, but yeah, that's most of it. There's a few other ones, nothing too big or like some easy ones, So, but
Kevin Feige need to hire us, man. We've been putting more attention on the MCU in this show than what's been there for a while. Yeah,
that's good.
Yeah.
We've done more than phase 4 and 5 combined.
Correct. Absolutely.
Combined. Damn. Yeah.
But what would be a kick-ass name? Taserface.
Well, that's funny. But I think that's kind of goes back to like the thing where what made the MCU great wasn't great movies, because Iron Man, a lot of Phase 1 movies weren't great. What made the MCU great was making the fans happy.
Were you about to say Iron Man wasn't great?
Phase 1, Iron Man 2. Because we just talked a lot of shit about Iron Man 2 and 3. Iron Man 1 was amazing. It was the best. It was the best
thing
to start
about Iron
off.
Man 2 was seeing Scarlett Johansson. I was like, you know what? I don't even know if I can give this movie an F. I can't do it.
I was about to say something real bad.
I was going to say something else.
I was like, yeah, I can say it.
But a lot of Phase 1 wasn't that great in retrospect. But the MCU always treated their fans, because they learned what you have to do. You have to make the fans excited, because the fans are going to turn around and make the normies excited. And they started making the normies, trying to please the normies and leaving us behind. And they need to get back to making us happy, because when they did Guardians of the Galaxy, normies don't know about a fucking tree and a raccoon. It was the comic book fans that are like, hey, these guys are kind of cool. Raccoon is kind of like a shitty version of Wolverine in animal form,
Well, here's the thing. Like what I told
so you got to bring the fans back.
You know when something is popular when humans pretend to like stuff and know stuff that they know nothing about. Like I keep
Yeah.
seeing all these Instagram photos and stuff, you know, humans taking pictures of all these comic books that they know damn well they ain't read. They're like, yep, I've been reading since I was 5. It's like, no, stop it. Stop it now. So
Yeah.
that's how popular it is. So that's,
It is.
you know, that's crazy.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. So you got to get the comic book fans back on board with you, and then the normies are going to get back on board with you, because at the end of the day, it's like you make it for the fans, and the fans are going to hype it up, and it's going to get everybody else excited, because you know that's how this stuff kind of
Yeah,
works.
because
You know what I mean?
they don't
That's
have the
how it works.
normies anymore, because that's why this shit is failing. I'm like, when they don't
Yep.
even show up, that's how you know you fucking up.
Yep. So
You
you
gotta do
got to
something
start
to get
doing it.
back.
You got to do it. You know, so that's why you said like hire us. I know that's a joke, but it's kind of not. And I'm not just saying like us as in comic book fans. You need to bring back comic book fans, you know, and you
Yes,
need
and
to get
stop
those people
firing all the
as
writers and people that love stuff. It's like
yeah.
Kevin Feige's doing that on purpose. People like, yep, John, what are your ideas? He's like, sir, I am a huge Blade fan. Oh, you're fired. Get out of here. Next, sir, I read the material. I said to get out of my office, but you're making a Blade movie. Wouldn't I be able to help make it better? I'm like, no, they're getting sniped out. It's insane.
So yeah, so the Marvels was great. Marvels was fun.
I had fun with it.
Brandon,
Yeah.
I'm just trying to make sure that you know, my brain is working well. I think it said the Marvels was great.
It gets a lot of hate. I know you didn't like. I forgot. Were you on Chill Stream?
I look.
You're on.
I said it straight, plain and simple. I like that movie's trash. The only few elements, the few that made me chuckle were Amon Villani, not her character, but just because she is a really cool person. She is a fan.
Yeah.
Like I feel like she would fit really well in my crew.
Dude.
We would just talk for hours about Marvel, but I'm like, that movie though, Amon.
Tiana could do whatever she wants on a movie theater on a screen. I will go see it multiple times. I don't care what she can do, whatever she wants. As I said, thicker than cold peanut butter. Let's go.
But no, you know, there's nothing wrong with liking stuff.
Yeah.
But I was just like, hell no, this ain't it right here.
Yeah,
I was entertained. It was a fun watch for me.
Yeah, for that. But yeah, comic book fans didn't write the Infinity Saga. No, but the Infinity Saga was made for comic book fans. You know, it really was. It really was. You know, like
you don't even have this stuff without the fans.
Yeah.
The only reason
I
that
think
they
that's
decided to
what I'm
make
talking
it is because they like to use us. They're like, hey, we're making it for the fans. No, you're not. Because if you were, you wouldn't be making this shit. In fact, as much as I like Kevin Feige and respect him, I have called his ass out many times because that's what you do when you're being fair. You even call out individuals that you like. And I was just like, you keep telling me, oh, it's made for you. It's made for the fans. And I know these characters. I know this, and that. But just like Jon Favreau told him in their recent, interview together when they were going over the different phases of the MCU, how it started, where it is now, Jon Favreau told him, there are a bunch of people out there that love these characters and know more about these characters than you. And he said, you're right. And I'm one of them. So you can't tell me that you love and respect this so much, but yet every time I look at your projects, you are changing shit. You are making it worse. You're disrespecting characters and you're taking the substance out to make a joke or something, or you're trying to appeal to humans that don't care about the stuff anyway, and that end up not showing up.
But I would say that's the newer MCU stuff. That's the newer, like post Endgame stuff is like that.
Yeah, like
that was phase 4 and 5, and that's what we got.
Phase 4 and 5
4 years. That's a long time. This is not like a couple things. This is like the recent history. So much so that humans are like, damn,
10 movies now.
Yeah,
10 movies
look at
and
all
6 shows.
Stuff. Look at all the stuff that has come from phase 4 and 5, and you're just like, what has happened? It will never be as good as it was, and I stand by that. It'll never be as
They'll
good
have to
as
reboot, and with added X-Men and Fantastic Four, I think it's something we can revisit soon. But I will tell you this, guys, it's 12:30, and Brian's
Yeah.
going to sleep. So
Yeah. Yeah, let's get out of here. Yeah, we're Central Time, so it is super late for us.
Wait, you guys sure you don't want to stay for 10 hours and
10 more.
hey, we could do a long stream and we could talk about a lot of stuff, but that ain't tonight. We're just gonna do it when Brian's on vacation.
Next week.
Exactly.
Yeah, but yeah, Terrance, appreciate it. Thank you so much for coming in, man. I know we were working together to get you on the show, so I'm glad it all worked out. And
It was a
we did
lot of fun.
Yeah, this is great.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Amazing
Yeah.
the whole time. And it's I feel like a lot of it is my fault because I am so damn hard to get a hold of. I just be in the back cave and the Justice League looking for me. They're like, where are you at? I'm like, oh, I'm on level 14. You got to come down here. I make things.
It's like it's
I
only
get it.
it's like instead and then you go in the elevator, it's like 13 and 15.
Right.
There is no
Right.
level 14.
There's no 14.
Like, actually, to get there, you got to go through this tunnel and then work your way down. It's like, oh, okay. Like, I'm not really, big on social media and stuff. And I know it makes things easier, but that's not what I do. But I appreciate that, you guys, really wanted me on and you worked with me. We were communicating. And I feel like,
Yeah, we figured it out, man.
that makes it easier when there's an understanding and you just kind of communicate from there.
Yeah,
I think that's the big thing, and if when people have good ideas and good knowledge base, and it's fun to talk about these things, and we like to nerd out. Obviously, this is what we do, and we love. If I could show you all my comic books, I would, but obviously I can't hold all 8,000 of them at the same time. But like you love stuff that much, that's just what it is. You want to be able to have a great time talking about these things,
right?
Mm-hmm.
And you want to enjoy it. You know what I mean? Like everything that I see, I'm like, I want to like it, but when something hits me the wrong way, it's like it hurts my soul. It's like why did you do this to me? I don't deserve this. Like, yeah.
That's funny. But I totally get that. I totally get that when they mess up the character. That's how I felt with X-Men 1. As a little kid, it's sitting in there. I was like, Wolverine don't even know Sabretooth? What? Why do you hate me? Why do you hate me?
Well, Brian
Transformers and Beast Wars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, because when I saw X-Men 1, I was excited. Like, my mom, she took me and my brother to see that. And I was like, it's the X-Men. I was so happy. Like,
I remember being super excited.
Yeah.
I was. And then they
I enjoyed a lot of what Fox did, right? Because they did make some trash. But to me, they had some great stuff, too. And, naturally, I was like, okay, I would have did a lot of stuff differently. But I was so happy to see those characters. And then the stuff that I enjoyed, I did really enjoy it, So
they did give these characters life. In other words, we wouldn't have gotten.
Yeah. It helped.
But
it did help make the comic film genre what it is today. But well, there aren't any. I get what Bryan Singer was going for in terms of trying to kind of like ground the content because it was a critical time. No one was taking the genre seriously. We have stuff like Batman and Robin to thank for that. Yeah. So, I kind of
was trash. Like, we all know that movie.
Yeah. But yeah, the X-Men fan in me will always be like disappointed with certain aspects. Like, come on, Singer. There's other X-Men villains besides Magneto and Stryker.
See, and I feel like I'm not even that far away from how you feel, because I know there's a lot of stuff like, oh, why didn't they do this? Why didn't they bring in this one? But like I said, there's plenty that I did enjoy. Even there's stuff that I didn't. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there were a lot of things that I enjoyed. To be fair to it, and they had to. I understand the approach that they took. If I'm being fair to it.
Yeah. No, I'm still gonna talk trash. Fuck the Fox X-Men. They suck.
Dang, like no.
Hey,
See, we were ending on a good note.
He didn't pull no punches.
I'm glad Deadpool's gonna kill them all.
Yeah, it's gonna be Deadpool kills the Foxverse.
That's what I was telling humans. I was calling that out for so long. I was like, it's gonna be a version of Deadpool kills the Marvel Universe, except it's going to be with the Fox characters. He's
It makes
probably going to
perfect sense
use.
because
He's
you
probably
got the
going to use.
2024, you
Yeah,
kill all the characters off and then reboot them in 2025.
Yeah,
right.
just
And I'm
contract
like,
wise.
and I even like with the device, I was like, he's probably going to use Cable's time
Cable.
traveling device, or
Mhm.
he's going to make his own and go around, and then that's how the TVA is going to get involved. He's going to make things worse, So like I was putting all that together, and they're like, "So you know that for sure?" I was like, "No, I don't know that for sure. I just have
But it
theories." But
makes sense with the
It
with
makes
the
sense.
yeah,
actual storyline. If you're going to use a storyline, that's what you use.
right,
Yep.
right.
I'm just gonna cheer really loud when he finally kills Sabretooth from that first X-Men movie. I'm like,
Oh, come on! Like that was my boy. Like the Statue of Liberty fight scene. I remember standing up in the theater and I was bobbing
ah,
and weaving. Like that shit was awesome.
Yes, I like that. I like that.
Yo, we got to see Wolverine and Sabretooth fight on the big screen. I never thought I would see that. Like
Yes,
never.
that
but they messed up their relationship. That's the
I
hard
know, I
part.
they didn't
know.
know each other. Like you're
Yeah, no,
fighting
you
just
did.
because you're told to fight. You're not fighting because you hate each other. You know what I mean?
Right,
It's
right.
like
That's true. I
you're
know that
missing it.
aspect was missing, but I was happy to see him fighting. Like it was cool.
Yeah, but yeah, you know, I can't say anything good about Fox. All right, let's get out of here. It is super late. I gotta wake up in like 4 hours.
Yeah.
I know Brandon too.
So you guys sure that you don't want to carry this out for 10 hours? Because this is amazing energy.
We
and, you know,
could,
Right?
but
Well,
We
see,
definitely could.
I could keep on going, and don't let me. We can start getting the comic books and just go all out. But then tomorrow I will be useless. So
yeah.
well, I got a remedy for that. See, all I got to do is stop time, and time can continue when we're done,
hey,
and then
in the TVA, or we go into the Loki verse and wherever he is, and then we don't have to worry. We outside time, and then we can just do whatever.
Sit right next to him on his little throne.
Yeah,
Exactly. I'm like, hey,
exactly.
move over, bro. Move over.
Like,
Scoot
move over. We got you.
I'll hold that one for you.
Yeah, we'll hold this one little time stream for you. Got you. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good.
All right. But we're gonna get out of here. Thank you everyone in chat. Thank you guys so much in chat coming in and actually engaging and hanging out with us, telling us all your thoughts about everything. Super appreciate the super sticker from Dark Reviews and what was it? Yeah,
Dre
Dark
Mac.
Room Reviews and Dre Mac for the super chat. Appreciate you guys so much. Thank you guys. Thank you, Terrance. Hopefully we can do it
Thank
again.
you.
I know
this
things
again.
are gonna happen, but hopefully we can do it again. It was a lot of fun.
I don't care what he says. I want to do it again.
Yeah. It's happening. It is happening. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. But thank you guys. We will be back on Monday, hopefully talking about a movie. Maybe. Depends what comes
Maybe.
out. I don't know.
Yeah.
So we might talk about some of the older ones. We'll see. But appreciate all you guys. Definitely talking Jonathan Major stuff. I do want to talk about that on Monday.
I have a whole notebook full of stuff. So
I bet you do.
Definitely go.
Nice.
But yeah, we're never gonna do that. But thank you guys. Have a great weekend. Appreciate all you guys hanging out with us. Thank you, Terrance, one more time.
You guys, thank you.
Yeah. Oh, well, I know you said you don't got anything you need to shout out or want to shout out that's coming up, or you want to just nothing?
Okay, so you guys are aware of what's going on with me, and then for those that aren't, I've been out of the loop for a while. I had stepped away from YouTube as a content creator, and at the time I had 10,800 subs, and then it jumped up like past 12,000, and then I was like quietly planning my return for like an entire year, and like we're talking about like 7 months where no one saw anything, but they didn't know I was planning like this epic return, and I was trying to do this unprecedented stuff where I would just have a whole entire year just planned out of things scheduled to drop at different times, like crazy schedules and different things. And at the moment, unfortunately, my channel does have 2 strikes because humans.
Yes, I know that.
Yeah, that's what it was.
There are a bunch of humans that come after me and they flag my stuff because they're like, oh, we don't like what you're saying, and then YouTube is like, oh, hate speech, and I didn't violate anything. It's messed up. It's just. But
then when you
it's
argue on the
nothing.
platform, it's hard to argue on a platform.
Yeah, it's just, but I got to keep being me. So I've had 9 different channels, and I've been around since 2012, and every time humans snipe me down, funny enough, each channel gets more and more fans every time. You know, the Terranceisms are circulating and stuff like that. So, and I managed to pass 20K with this current channel. You know, so
Mhm.
I'm glad that I've been hitting the crazy numbers, even though there's a bunch of humans that come after me and they're like, "Oh, we want you to fail," and all the things they say to me. I'm still, you know, moving on my own momentum, regardless of, you know, what's happening to me. So that's where I am. I'm planning on returning officially, should everything go right, December 31st, 2023, and
Mhm.
you know, just wait till 2024 if I can make it. You know, so
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
you make it. We're gonna make it. Make
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, once the official restart happens, we'll definitely be there for you, and help out with whatever we can, man. So
Oh yeah, you can try to stop
it's fun.
us, but yeah,
Yeah.
it won't work.
It's not gonna happen.
yeah.
So like I said, appreciate it. But yeah, let's get out of here. I am ready to go sleep, man.
Yeah, but
Thank you
do that
guys.
myself.
We will see you guys on Monday. Later.
Can't wait, guys.
All right.
Don't forget to like and subscribe. We out here.